Chapter 124, Hidden Sex, Chapter 124. Hidden sex. There was a lot of people at Ju Yun Temple's stall. However, their stall was also very big. Yi Mo followed Wu Guang monk to the resting place at their stall. Immediately, a girl walked up to serve tea. Seeing Yi Mo sit down, Wu Guang monk immediately said, "Sorry for my sudden invitation. I haven't asked for your name yet." Yi Mo came on his own will. If he didn't want to come, it wouldn't be so easy for Wu Guang to invite him. Now that Wu Guang asked, "Master Wu Guang, you're too polite. I'm Yi Mo." Yi Mo thought that this Wu Guang probably wasn't an ordinary folk. Although he hadn't been in a fight with him, his spirit and essence seemed holy. Despite he was an old man in his 70s, his movement weren't slurred at all. As he spoke, his tone sounded potent. Obviously, he was cultivating an inner martial art. "If I'm not wrong, your prowess in martial arts isn't low. This time, I do have a few questions for you. Of course, if it's inconvenient to answer, it doesn't matter." Wu Guang's voice was very soft and very polite. Yi Mo drank some tea, and a crisp smell went into his nose. The taste lingered in his mouth. It was obviously a top-quality tea, so he couldn't help but to say, "This tea is indeed great." Wu Guang smiled and said, "If you like it, I can give you some later. This is given to me by a friend." Yi Mo wondered if that friend of his was the one who asked Wu Guang to sell magical artifacts for him. Regardless, he would ask later. However, he said, "Thank you, Master. What other questions do you have?" "Great. Then I'll be straightforward. From what I can see, your magical artifacts are even better than the ones I'm selling. I'm wondering if you made them yourself or you got them elsewhere." Wu Guang's eyelids sunk down, but the shimmer in his eyes couldn't escape Yi Mo's spirit sense. Looking at the old monk's eyes and thinking about the fact that he was selling artifacts for those ancient martial arts sects, Yi Mo wondered if he was too high profile. If one of such sect wanted him and took him back as a lab rat, then he would be gone. He didn't think that with his current power, he would be invincible. Thinking about this, Yi Mo stood up and saluted to the old monk. "Master, I wish to ask for your help." Wu Guang closed his hands. "Yes, don't be polite. Please be straightforward." Yi Mo, however, sat down once again and said, "These magical artifacts and pills are all made by an elder in my sect. However, he doesn't wish to come out in the world, so he told me to sell it for them. However, he doesn't need the money. In fact, I only know a little about these sort of things." After looking once at Wu Guang's reaction, Yi Mo paused before continuing. "The thing I want to ask for your help is that please don't get these pills into those ancient martial arts sects to prevent that elder from being offended." However, Yi Mo thought to himself that it seemed Wu Guang didn't really understand the power of the artifacts he was selling. If he knew, then he probably wouldn't be using this attitude, but it was good that he didn't know because he was connected to the sections. If he revealed Yi Mo's power, then it wouldn't be good. It seemed that he needed to be less in touch with this monk. After today's things are done, he would leave immediately. Thinking about this, Yi Mo saluted with his fist. "Master Wu Guang, I also have something that I want to ask you. Please speak." Seeing Yi Mo say he didn't make these things, Wu Guang understood. After all, someone as young as Yi Mo wouldn't be able to make such magic artifacts. Moreover, his things seemed pretty well done, rendering a serene feeling. That's why he wanted to buy one. He didn't realize the true effects of the items just as Yi Mo thought. If he knew, then he would probably bring one back, no matter how expensive it was. Even if he didn't hand it to the sects, he would keep one for research himself. "I want to ask if the ancient martial arts sects are the hidden sections. How do I enter if I want to enter the hidden sects?" He only occasionally heard about the hidden sects from Luo Susu. Although he didn't ask, he remembered it. Hearing Yi Mo's question, Wu Guang looked at Yi Mo peculiarly. He didn't expect Yi Mo to know about the hidden sections. Not much people knew about the hidden sections. Since Yi Mo asked, Wu Guang didn't decide to hide it from him. Plus, there wasn't anything to hide. He just nodded and said, "Ancient martial arts is a type of hidden sect. Other than that, there are other lines such as Dao sects, Yellow sects, Rune sects, and so forth. However, if you're not one of them, it's best not to try to enter because even if I tell you how to, you wouldn't be able to get there. Even if you did manage to get in, you would be killed straight away." Speaking of this and seeing Yi Mo's bemused face, he thought Yi Mo was wondering why the hidden sects could kill people so easily, so he explained, "It isn't illegal to kill inside the sects because no one can go in. As for where each one is located, I don't know either." Although Wu Guang didn't say where the hidden sects were, Yi Mo understood most of the things. Luo Susu should be one of the lines in the hidden sects, and these people were all cultivation madmen. They usually wouldn't come out or were not allowed to come out. However, each sect couldn't possibly be that tight, and there were always a few restless people who ran out. After running out, they would use their abilities to establish a career for themselves. Since Wu Guang said this, there was no need for him to ask about Luo Susu. Wu Guang didn't even know where the hidden sects were. He definitely wouldn't know Luo Susu's situation. No wonder Luo Susu said it was so hard to come out once. "Then where is your Ju Yun temple located?" Yi Mo asked immediately. However, this time, the monk just said Amitua Fo and didn't answer. Yi Mo knew the monk didn't want to say it and couldn't help to be contemptuous towards this monk. The monk found him and asked him so many questions, but when he just asked him a few, he didn't even want to answer it. However, Yi Mo asked what he needed, so he stood up and said, "In that case, I won't disturb you anymore. Goodbye." The monk didn't have anything else to ask, but still gave a box of tea to Yi Mo. When Yi Mo returned to the exhibition, there was still a lot of people. He wanted to find Lin Huiha and see if he had already bought what he wanted. If he didn't, then he wanted to leave. He just saw a few ancient stalls, and there weren't anything good there. Even the artifacts with faint spirit chi were hardly to be seen. Plus, Wu Guang monk said that he wasn't from the ancient martial arts sects, so Yi Mo no longer had the intent to ask how they made their magic artifacts. They wouldn't know even if he asked. Yi Mo scanned with his spirit sense and didn't see Lin Huiha. Lin Huiha was out of range, so he was probably busy. Yi Mo would also look around and see which of these things were real. However, Yi Mo was disappointed. After going through half of the places, there were only a few real ones, and barely had any function. They were just some ordinary things to cleanse the mind, but they were exorbitantly expensive. But just when Yi Mo was going back to his stall and wait to meet up with Lin Huiha, a stall that wasn't much bigger than has caught his attention. To be exact, the silver rock on the stall caught his attention. Yi Mo scanned the rock with his spirit sense and found it to be a space abyss rock. His heart started to beat fast. Space abyss rock. It was the thing used to make dimensional rings or storage rings. In the real cultivation realm, it was rare, much less here. If he had a storage ring, then even if he wasn't that strong, he wouldn't have had such a hard time in the desert. He must acquire this. Yi Mo's eyes could no longer leave the rock and just walked straight towards it. "Hey, what do you want?" A voice stopped Yi Mo in his steps. Yi Mo just realized he rammed onto someone else. "It's you?" Yi Mo didn't expect the person he ran into would be in Yen. This woman really haunted him wherever he went. However, that youth that was tailing her was nowhere to be seen. "Oh, sorry." Yi Mo knew it was indeed his fault this time. There was only space abyss rock in his eyes, and Yen, who was in a bad mood and was about to throw a tantrum, saw it was Yi Mo and actually calmed down. Although she hated Yi Mo, she felt like she could make a deal out of Yi Mo ramming into her. Perhaps she would be able to get that jade necklace. But when she reacted, Yi Mo had walked over to a stall. It meant that he didn't even take ramming her seriously. And Yen was immediately infuriated and followed him without thinking. However, Mo was nervous at this time because he saw someone pick up the silver white rock. It seemed that person was also interested in the rock. Chapter 125. Unable to buy it. Chapter 125. Unable to buy it. This was Space Abyss rock. So how could anyone from here be interested in that? Mo walked over anxiously and pretended to look at something else. In fact, his spirit sense never left that rock. Do you want to leave after bumping into someone? And Yen ran in front of Mo and immediately yelled out. Mo frowned. To be honest, he really didn't want to talk to this woman. He was worried about that Space Abyss rock. Now that Yen came to annoy him, once again, he was immediately angry and turned around, coldly saying, "Piss off, you," and Yen didn't expect this person dared to tell her to piss off. Her face was furious and actually was at a loss for words. At this moment, the youth with Yen walked over. Seeing Yen's complexion, he asked, "Yen, what's wrong?" And Yen rubbed one eye with her hand and pointed at Mo. "This person is harassing me." The man's face sunk. He was already annoyed at Mo for not selling the necklace, but he didn't expect Mo to dare to harass Yen. He immediately walked over and wanted to grab Mo's shoulder. But before his hand reached Mo's shoulder, Mo's hand already grabbed his wrist and coldly said, "If you dare to move again, I will step you under my foot. Piss off." This youth discovered that after Mo grabbed his hand, he couldn't move at all. Meanwhile, a bone-aching chill ran onto his body. This youth wasn't ordinary. As soon as the situation arose, he immediately knew that he was a joke compared to Mo. This person who dared to harass Yen was definitely a master, someone countless times stronger than him. He was sure that even if his master was here, he would still be no match for him. Meeting such a master at the exhibition, cold sweat immediately ran down the man's back. He thought about Mo selling things before. Did he really come from the ancient martial arts sects? Otherwise, why did the monk want to talk to him in private? However, luckily at this moment, Mo had released his hand and didn't pay more attention to him. Instead, he continued to watch that stall. "Boss, how much is the stone?" Hearing this voice, Mo's heart sunk immediately. It seemed that that person really wanted the rock. Otherwise, he wouldn't ask like this. Mo was thinking rapidly. If this person really bought the Space Abyss rock, he would buy it back. If he didn't sell it, then he would try and get this even if it meant stealing. This thing was too useful for Mo originally. He thought there wouldn't be such good material on Earth, but now that he discovered it, there was no way he would let it go. Plus, Space Abyss rock was much more precious than silver heartgrass. $100K. The stall owner gave a price. That expensive? This is just a rock. I just want to use it for decoration, seeing the color is so rare. Can it be any cheaper? The man holding the stone said. At this moment, Mo looked at the man. He was in his 30s and was slim-built. However, he looked very tough. With Mo's experience, this person was a ferocious person. What took Mo's attention was that this man emitted a bleak aura. People who were sensitive to this would even feel cold. This thing was only $100,000, but he was still bargaining for it, meaning that he wasn't rich or he didn't have much money on him. The stall owner shook his head after hearing the words. "Sorry, there's no bargaining. I'm helping a friend sell this." "Oh, I see." The man put down the stone and started to think. Mo immediately took the stone after seeing the man put it down. This was no longer a time to pretend to not care. While this man hadn't decided yet, he would buy it first. "I'll take this stone." Mo immediately took the stone and said. The stall owner didn't expect the stone to suddenly be so popular. Just when the man put it down, Mo already picked it up. Seeing Mo pick up the stone, the man who was still hesitating immediately changed and said, "I got this stone first. What right do you have to buy it? Give it over. I'm buying it." Then he was going to take it from Mo's hand. Mo sneered. "There are so many people here. How come I didn't hear you say you want it?" Boss, tell me, who decided to buy it first? The boss looked awkwardly at the two people and said, "This friend came first." He pointed at that man, but before that man smiled, he pointed at Yemo and said, "But the first to say he want to buy is this one." The man was immediately going to get angry, but he realized he didn't have any reason to. The store owner wasn't wrong at all. "I'll buy it for $200,000. Give it to me. He hasn't bought it yet." That man was angry. He didn't think that the thing he wanted would be bought away as soon as he hesitated for a bit. The store owner looked apologetically at Yemo, although he knew Yemo decided on it first, but the other person gave $200,000. "Okay, I'll also pay $200K. Then Yemo took out the check to the store owner. "This is a $2 million check, just give me one. $8 million change." However, the store owner didn't take the check and instead changed face. All the deals here were in cash or card. Only friends, or those whom one was familiar with, would do deals in check. Yemo was the first to use check and asked for one. $8 million change. "Sorry, sir, we don't take check. Only cash or bank transfer." The stall owner rejected immediately. Yemo's face also changed. He didn't think that people didn't take check. He believed a check, but that didn't mean everyone believed it. If they didn't take check, it meant that he couldn't pay. If he couldn't pay, would he fight over the rock? Seeing that the person she hated couldn't take out money, and Yen rejoiced. Although she knew that the check in Yemo's hand was probably real, she still loved seeing this situation. There was already a few times she suffered at the hands of Yemo on the plane. Now that Yemo was suffering, there was no way she wouldn't be happy. The youth next to Yen pulled her. "Let's go." "Why? I still haven't gotten retribution yet. How can I let it go like this?" And Yen unhappily said she still had another intention. If Yemo didn't have money and asked her for money, she would lend it to him but ask for that necklace while ridiculing Yemo. However, the youth quietly said, "This isn't a simple man. We'll talk on the side." Helplessly, and Yen walked to the side with the youth. At this moment, the stall owner took the space abyss rock from Yemo and put it on the table. His intention was obvious. Whoever could afford it could get the rock. Yemo's face changed. There was no way he would give up on the space abyss rock, but he couldn't take out money. He thought about Yen on the side. Didn't she want a necklace? He would give her one and lend money from her. But when Yemo turned around and Yen was gone, he couldn't help but to frown more. Of course, and Yen didn't think that her little plan almost succeeded if the youth didn't pull her away. Yemo really was going to ask for money from her. But in this short moment, the bleak-faced man said, "Tell your cashier to go check out with me. I'll give you $200,000 immediately." This stall owner could no longer care about Yemo. It would be hard to sell this stone for $100,000, but now he sold it for $200,000. He quickly told the cashier to check out with the man while he packaged the stone. Yemo looked helplessly at the rock. He really couldn't blame the stall owner. Although his character wasn't good, he was a businessman. Of course, he wanted to earn more money. "Boss, where did you get this stone?" Yemo thought there might be more from where it came from. As though a bit apologetic towards Yemo, the stall owner replied, "From what my friend said, he picked it up near the Qingdao beach. As for exactly where, I have no idea." Hearing the stall owner's words, Yemo was speechless. If he could pick up space abyss stone at the beach, then there would be too much. However, he wasn't sure if the stall owner was telling the truth, so he could only shake his head and leave. After leaving the stall, Yemo quietly walked behind that man and made a spirit sense mark. Since he couldn't buy it, then he had no choice but to steal it. This thing was more useful to him than to anyone else, but someone else had to buy it. Yemo didn't have any moral burden stealing it from this man. This bleak-looking man was obviously not someone to be messed with easily, but Yemo wasn't afraid of this type at all. Plus, he maliciously increased the price. Look at how The monk increased the price. After the person bought it, he would buy it for extra from that person. If the person didn't agree, he would give up. Of course, Yemo didn't expect this man to have the resolve of Wu Guang, but that man shouldn't expect him to have the resolve of Wu Guang either. And Yen, who just saw Yi Mo return dejectedly to his stall, couldn't help but to think, serves you right. Chapter 126, Relocation. Chapter 126, Relocation. At this moment, Lin Hueha and his friends had come back. Although Yi Mo had no interest in asking what they bought, Lin Hueha excitedly showed Yi Mo the magic artifact he had just bought. This was a spirit-calming magic artifact. It would help with sleeping when put at the bedside. Although it looked exquisite on the outside, the effects were too bad. If it was not long before, perhaps Yi Mo would help him improve it. But now, Yi Mo had lost interest and casually said it wasn't bad. "Brother Yi, did you finish selling as well? If you're finished, then let's go." From Lin Hueha's perspective, it would be very lucky if Yi Mo could even sell his things for a few thousand. Yi Mo smiled and said, "Brother Lin, you go back first. I still have some things to do. I'll go visit you later. Oh, I also have a bag of tea here. A friend gave it to me. It's yours now." Seeing Yi Mo was busy, Lin Hueha didn't mind too much. He took the tea and left with his friend. After Lin Hueha left, Yi Mo just constantly sat in his stall and didn't shop around. He just kept his spirit sense on that bleak-looking man. If he didn't get this rock, he wouldn't give up. With such a big piece, he could make 2 storage rings. Although Yen wanted to go up and ridicule Yi Mo, she saw Yi Mo's annoyed complexion and remembered the ferocious way he told her to piss off and held back on her actions. However, Yi Mo noticed that the man who bought the stone didn't leave and still walked around. However, Yi Mo was patient. Even if the man stayed till dark, he wouldn't mind. And Yi Mo also noticed that a long-haired man followed that man, but the two didn't talk. After that man walked around for another 20 minutes, he finally made his way to the exit. Yi Mo just kept his spirit sense on him and didn't walk up. As expected, the man wandered around the exit for another while before leaving. Yi Mo noticed that he actually left from the safety exit. The long-haired man didn't leave with him. Yi Mo immediately used an invisibility magic and followed. Because Yen was still annoyed due to the necklace, she had her eyes on Yi Mo, but when she blinked, she actually found that Yi Mo disappeared. She thought she looked wrong and rubbed her eyes, but Yi Mo really disappeared. She was dazed. She didn't know if she blinked for too long or she was seeing things. This bleak man had a handbag and walked beside an Audi. He looked around and took out a cigarette but wasn't in a rush to leave. It seemed that he was waiting for someone. If he was staged 2 chi gathering, Yi Mo would probably kill this man or knock him out and take the Space Abyss rock. But at this moment, that was unnecessary. He thought he would have to follow his car, but since this man didn't leave, that would save more time. Yi Mo just took the rock without even using a substitute in invisibility. He left immediately. If he couldn't make a storage ring before he went to Beijing, then he at least needed to prepare the other materials. Before the man finished smoking, the long-haired man walked over. The two really were together. The two nodded upon arrival as the bleak man reached inside the bag in his hand. He wanted to take the Space Abyss rock out and show it to the long-haired man. But when he reached his hand in, his face rapidly changed. He found that the rock he spent 200K on was gone. He really did leave it in there, and the bag was always in his hand, so how would it disappear? Plus, with his power, how could he not know someone stole something from him? "Sumu, what's wrong?" The latter man noticed something was wrong and asked. The man called Sumu just held the bag, without replying immediately. "Did you lose it?" that long-haired man nervously asked. From his expression, one could tell how much it meant for him. The man called Sumu shook his head. "No, that thing is still there." Hearing Sumu's words, the long-haired man felt relief. Since that thing is still there, what are you afraid of, Sai? But I felt I lost something thousands of times more precious than that. Sumu shook his head. His face was bleak. Stop bullshitting. What could be more precious than the attacking artifacts from the hidden sections? We spent 50 million getting that. Master said if he finished his solitary training, he will be able to break through. Then he will go see Qianlong too. Even if he doesn't break through, Qianlong too would be more cautious with him with this attacking artifact, the long-haired man said. The man called Sumu frowned and answered after a long time. It's because I feel the thing I lost is the spirit sensing stone, Master said. Master said that there is a type of stone where if you hold it in your hands and close your eyes feeling it with your body, you will have this feeling of spreading your spirit. You can even feel its vastness, as well as an indescribable feel of space-time. This stone is really important in helping me break through. Speaking till now, he looked at the long-haired man and said, if that was the spirit-sensing stone and Master got it, then he would have a greater chance in breaking through. Perhaps we can use this stone to break through in the future. This stone that makes you feel a vastness is priceless. Don't you think it is so much more precious than the thing we came to buy? There really is such a stone. Then for a true ancient martial artist like Master, that stone would be. The long-haired man didn't speak the rest, but Sumu knew what he meant. If that stone really was the spirit-sensing stone, then it would definitely worth more than that 50 million attacking artifact. Sumu's face was serious. It should be him. Otherwise, why did he keep such a close eye on it? It meant that he knew how special the stone was. It was because he wanted to buy that made me make my decision. Only he would have the motive to steal it now that the stone has disappeared. You sure you weren't being followed? The long-haired man soon understood. If things were really as Sumu said, then that stone really would be so much more precious. Sumu shook his head. Definitely not. Perhaps. Sumu suddenly subconsciously looked at the exhibition and said to the long-haired man, let's go in again. Tell the organizer to close the doors and investigate. The long-haired man frowned and said, in that case, we're telling Metal River that we have come. So what if they know? Metal River is Uncle Metal's and Master's, not Wu Xueming's. If Master wasn't in solitary training now, Uncle Metal would have gotten rid of him with his cockiness and subvert disobedience to Uncle Metal's words. We'll let him jump around for a few days. He had already forgotten who had given him his authority. Sumu's bleak face seemed bleaker with his bleak tone. The long-haired man nodded. That Wu Xueming has been too arrogant recently. Then the two went back to the exhibition. Yi Mo returned to the clinic in a good mood, but he saw Lu Xiaozhen and Yu Eru discussing something. They hurried to greet Yi Mo upon seeing his return. What is it that you're so happy about? Yi Mo asked, casually seeing both of them were so happy. Master, Xiaozhen has found a mansion. It's just a bit far, and the price is 8 million. Because this family is in a rush to leave, the price isn't too high, Yu Eru replied. Yi Mo was also very happy hearing that they have found a new place. He didn't mind it being distant. He wanted it to be far and discreet. He immediately gave that check to Lu Xiaozhen. Use this money to buy the mansion. The faster the better. Lu Xiaozhen took the check. Looking at the numbers on it, she almost screamed. Master just went out for half a day and brought back 2 million. This was too absurd. But then she immediately thought of Yi Mo's words and dragged Yu Eru with her. But before she left, she remembered something and asked, Master, give me your ID. Yi Mo waved his hand. Use your own. Time is of the essence. Lu Xiaozhen poked her tongue out, but also knew of Yi Mo's character, so she didn't ask anymore. The reason Yi Mo wanted to move so quickly was because Lin Huihe knew he went, and Lin Huihe knew where he lived. If someone wanted to, it wouldn't be hard for that person to find him. Moreover, he got the space Abyss Rock today. Other people didn't know of its value, but he did. He just didn't know if that bleak-looking man bought the rock due to the same reasons, but regardless, he needed to be alert. Of course, the main reason was because he wanted to plant his silver heart grass there, although it didn't die here, but it didn't seem to be very alive. Instead of waiting for it to die here, it would be better to change places. If that place still didn't work out, then he might really move back to Ninghai. Although Lu Xiaojun just graduated less than a year ago, she did things very fast. It was only a week and she had done all the procedures right away. Plus, that family was in a hurry to sell the house, so they had already moved in within a week. Chapter 127. Qian Longtou's Irresolution. Chapter 127. Qian Longtou's Irresolution Sai Na Peninsula. In Nanqing's grandiloquent meeting room, only a few people sat there. In the middle was a man in his 60s. He had a pair of hawk eyes and loose eyebrows. However, his lips were very thick. This was the leader of Nanqing, Qian Baihe, also called Qian Longtou. Many years ago, Qian Longtou no longer ventured into the underground world, but those who heard his name would all give him respect. No gang dared to go against Qian Longtou. Not only in China, but even the African and European gangs also need to be fearful of the name Qian Longtou. However, Qian Longtou's face was very bleak at the moment. He just stared at the screen and didn't talk. Other than him, there were 6 other people in this room. 2 of them Yemo would know. One was the woman he sliced the arm off, and another one was Lang Ji. Other than this, there were 4 other people. A skinny man wearing red clothes sat closely beside Qian Longtou. He was in his 40-foot triangular eyes and very long eyebrows. However, he also frowned, as if in contemplation. He was the advisor of Qian Longtou, Dongfang Shi. The only person still drinking water is a youth who looked very scholarly and had a neat face. Although he wasn't handsome, but he wasn't ugly either. Although he looked the most ordinary, he was the most mysterious in Nanqing and also said to be the strongest. He was Wu Chang. As for how strong he was, no one knew. Only Lang Ji knew of his strength a bit, but Lang Ji was definitely no match for him. Even Qian Longtou was a bit respectful towards him. Other than this, there was a nun. The nun looked very fresh. She sat with the girl who had her arms sliced off by Yemo. It seemed the two were related, but that girl's broken arm was already attached back. It seemed she underwent surgery, and her face was still pale. She sat beside the nun. The last person seemed a bit recluse, but had a face full of ferocity. He was Qian Longtou's close henchman, Li Sandao, also the general of Qian Longtou's army. It could be said Nanqing's most central people were all here. However, the atmosphere was very dead. After long, Dongfang Shi relaxed his eyebrows and said, "From the tape in Lang Ji, as well as Zisu's description, this EMO is indeed strong. However, as for fireball and invisibility, I have my own outlook on that." Seeing everyone was listening to him, Dongfang Shi continued, "I won't talk about the fireball. The technology now is so advanced, it is very easy to make something into a fireball. However, the temperature of his fireball is so high, meaning that the fire source is quite special. As for invisibility, I suspect he acquired some artifact from the hidden sections. Otherwise, I really wouldn't believe someone can just suddenly go invisible. Even people from the hidden sects can't do this. But one thing I'm certain, his power is very strong. What do you make of it, Master Hui Yan?" Qian Longtou didn't make his opinion after hearing Dongfang Shi's words. He asked that nun after a while. The nun slowly said, "For this thing, my disciple is already heavily injured and paid the price of an arm. My promise to Brother Qian has come to an end. I won't make my opinion on this. I will take my disciple and leave now." Then the nun stood up and Zisu followed her. Qian Longtou frowned seeing the nun stand up, but didn't stop her. After a while, he stood up and said, "Since Master Hui Yan is leaving, hopefully we'll see each other again." Hui Yen didn't say anything and just left with her disciple. The nun even drove a car over. It seemed that she was planning to leave a long time ago. After getting on the car, Zisu curiously asked, "Master, why are you leaving?" "Uncle Qian is very nice to us, and my hand was chopped by that bastard. I still want my revenge." The nun sighed. "Zisu, you only see one side of Qianlong Tu. You haven't seen his vicious side. He can take 1 month to kill someone. Have you seen it? My brother owed him, so I promised to do 3 things for him. This time, getting you to go to the desert with Lang Ji to stop Yemo is the last promise. From now on, we won't be related anymore." "But, Master, aren't we going to get revenge?" Zisu immediately asked. She really didn't want to let it go like this. She had been practicing martial arts for so many years. All her mastery is in her hands, but now her hand was destroyed. "Revenge?" Hui Yen repeated before saying, "Do you think you can get revenge?" "I don't know who Yi-Mo is, but I'm too clear on what sort of a person Qianlongto's son is. Yi-Mo definitely had a reason for killing him. Do you think it's so easy to get revenge from Yi-Mo?" "Why," Su asked, "didn't that Dongfang she say Yi-Mo used flammables for the fireball and magic artifacts for invisibility?" Hui Yen coldly said, "Do you need to listen to what he says? I see that you like living in the mortal world and don't want to go back. If that's the case, you can stay." "No, Master, I'm just saying," Zisu hurriedly said, seeing that her master was being serious. "Then don't talk about it anymore. Do you really think the hidden sect can make an invisibility artifact? And what flammable substance do you think can ignite that quick and just incinerate the body straight away? Even I could tell that Yi-Mo definitely didn't use flammable substance. That is just Dongfang Shi cheating himself. Didn't you see him make hand seals? He is a scary person. Don't mess with him." Hui Yen still felt nervous thinking about the scene. She wouldn't be so clueless like normal people. Her sect was also a part of the ancient martial arts, but just rather declined. Now, they were no longer a part of the hidden sect, but this didn't mean she didn't know anything. Some sects were indeed powerful, but not powerful enough to make invisibility artifacts. "Brother, why did we let them go?" Lang Ji asked confusedly after seeing Hui Yen and Zisu really leave. Qianlongtu waved his hand and didn't reply. Although he didn't want them to leave, he didn't have any reason. At that time, he said they could leave when they helped him do 3 things. Now, if he tried to force Hui Yen to stay, they would have conflict. He already had conflict with Yi-Mo. It would be no good if he were to have conflict with Hui Yen. Originally, Qianlongtu thought that Yi-Mo was someone not important. Killing him would be all too easy, but he didn't expect Yi-Mo to be so ferocious as to face tens of Nanqing elite without any pressure. It was like he was taking a stroll, and this made Qianlongtu fearful. Although that Yi-Mo said he would come for him, he wasn't scared. But if he really did have that flammable substance and the invisibility artifact, then it would be quite hefty for Qianlongtu. So he decisively aborted his hunt for Yi-Mo, because someone like Yi-Mo couldn't be hunted by Nanqing. Those who went would only die. Another reason was that it was said Metal River Xian Daoist has finished his solitary training and was about to break through. If he really did, then he would come to his place just to show him his power. However, Qianlongtu didn't have any method. Although Wu Chong was strong, he was from Miaojiang and had a wild personality, not really listening to him. The main thing was Wu Chong was no match for Xian Daoist, much less Xian Daoist after breakthrough. Qianlongtu suddenly felt a headache, but the situation now was that Yi-Mo wasn't afraid of him and might come to his place. Why did his son have to go into conflict with Yi-Mo? If it was someone else, Qianlongtu would have already cut his head. Seeing Qianlongtu annoyed, Dongfang she smiled once again and said, "Big brother, you don't need to be so worried. I have already analyzed things. Even if Yi-Mo came, he wouldn't be able to do anything to Nanqing. Plus, he might not even dare to come. This isn't the main thing. After some analysis, my conclusion is that our enmity with Yi Mo is growing mainly due to the Song families pushing the waters in the dark. Why do you say this? Li Sandow, who hadn't been talking, asked bemusedly after hearing Dongfang. She's words. Dongfang, she said with confidence. This is very simple. Yi Mo killed Song Shaowen. This is no longer a secret. And the Song family have been political adversaries with the Yi family even in the business side. Just when Yi Mo went to kill Song Shaowen, he met Shiping, but it is highly possible that Yi Mo thought Shiping was Song Shaowen's person and killed him casually. Meanwhile, the Song family used that opportunity to bring us to face Yi Mo together and create the scene that the Yi family values Yi Mo in front of our eyes so that we would attack the Yi family. Meanwhile, they promised us a lot of benefits. Even if we knew the Yi family had the same attitude to Yi Mo before, we would still agree to the Song family's offer. It's because their gift is too lucrative. Moreover, there is no harm in us collaborating with them. Plus, we were going to kill Yi Mo anyways. So what? Although Lang Ji was strong, his brain wasn't too good. He still didn't really understand Dongfang Shi's words. Originally, it's nothing. We even earned a low T. But there was the variable Yi Mo. No one knew Yi Mo was so strong. Perhaps even the Song and Yi family didn't know. Dongfang, she said. So, you're saying we should stop our attack on Yi family immediately? Qian Longtu interrupted. Dongfang, she shook his head and drank before saying, No. Chapter 128. Dongfang Shi Shenanigans. Chapter 128. Dongfang Shi Shenanigans. In fact, the Yi family dislikes Yi Mo right now. We know this. Before, we targeted the Yi family, using Yi Mo as an excuse. The Yi family's fate doesn't concern Yi Mo at all. We were attacking the Yi family just to receive the benefits the Song family promised us. Now, there's no need for us to have conflict with the Song family. Instead, we should have a truce with the Yi family, Dongfang, she said with confidence. Then what should we do? Yi Mo killed my son. No matter how strong he is, I will still kill him. I won't be able to rest unless he is dead. Qian Longtu was used to his power. Although Yi Mo was absurdly strong, it was impossible for him to give up revenge. Dongfang, she calmly said, Of course, we won't let Yi Mo go, but since the Song family wants to use us as a bait, then we might as well do the same. Yi Mo's power is indeed out of our expectation, but the Song family doesn't know that now. In their eyes, Yi Mo is still the same Yi Mo if we arrange a conflict between the Song family, and Yi Mo while we spice their conflict and make it bitter until it reaches Yi Mo's bottom line. Once Yi Mo is infuriated with his personality, he would definitely go look for big trouble with the Song family. Qian Longtu frowned. Even if Yi Mo were to do that, the Song family wouldn't be able to keep him. He would be able to run away easily. It's wrong to think like that, big brother. On the surface, the Song family isn't as infamous as us, Nanqing, but don't underestimate the 5 big families of China. None of them is easy to deal with. They definitely have some hidden power which won't be unleashed until in times of crisis. And Yi Mo's personality is very decisive. If he is infuriated, then we can create the situation of him and the Song family fighting to the death. Speaking till now, Dongfang, she took out a board of weiqi and a few white pieces on the table before continuing. Once Yi Mo and the Song family start fighting, the government would definitely side with the Song family. It could be said that Yi Mo would be gangbanged and hunted by the government. Then he added another white piece. Qian Longtu couldn't help but to say, although Yi Mo was kicked out of the Yi family, but it should be impossible for the Yi family to hunt Yi Mo. Meanwhile, Dongfang, she assertively said, I can be sure that the Yi family would definitely agree. This time, the Yi family is tricked too and forced to fight with us, Nanqing. The Song family's trick was obvious, but they couldn't do anything about it. If we put ourselves with a lower attitude, and even compensate for some of their losses. The Yi family wouldn't reject us for someone they abandoned. Lang Ji seemed to understand a bit, but said, if Yi Mo escaped, we still wouldn't be able to do anything to him. Plus, with his power, it doesn't seem hard for him to escape. Lang Ji had seen Yimo's power. He didn't think he was exaggerating at all. Yi Mo, indeed, had the means to escape. At this moment, Dongfang, she put the white pieces all around the black and said, look, this is the government's hunt. This is the Yi family and Song family, and even us, Nanqing. The only way he can escape is here. Then Dongfang 11 pointed to the gap. He can't take planes, so the only way he can leave is from the ocean. And would we be afraid of anyone in the ocean? So we want him to run. This way, with Yi Mo's power, the Song family would suffer heavy losses after their fight, and Yi Mo would be trapped and hunted by us in the ocean. I just won't believe that our entire army, with this much firepower, can't keep a Yi Mo. Even if he can go invisible, he can't go invisible against bullets. No matter how strong his fireball is, can it be stronger than a rocket? Then Dongfang, she put a black piece at the gap, and in front of it he put multiple black pieces again. He smiled and said, this is called the black eating the black. Great. Qian Longtu palmed the table, and his frowned eyebrows relaxed a bit, but then he asked again, but how can we make the Song family infuriate Yi Mo? Dongfang, she frowned, and said after some time, it would be best to capture and kill someone close to him or kidnap them and bait him into the Song family. We aren't so easily used even if we're given benefits. Qian Longtu laughed loud. Right, we'll use Dongfang brothers' way. Only that would make me feel satisfied. Humph, so what if they're the Song family? But Yi Mo had been kicked out of the Yi family. Who would be his closest person? Lang Ji asked this question for everyone. Dongfang, she suddenly laughed. This person is very easy to find. It's Ning Qingxue. Before, Ning Qingxue used Yi Mo as a shield and faked their marriage, but I'm sure this fake has become the real thing. I don't know about Yi Mo, but from our information, Ning Qingxue didn't file divorce, meaning that she might have actually fallen in love with Yi Mo. I don't completely understand Yi Mo's character, but I know that if he knows the Song family had harmed Ning Qingxue or was taken away by some silk trousers of the Song family, then he would be enraged. At that time, we'll add some oil to the flame. It would be best if we can get some photos or something and send it to Yi Mo, making him sure that the Song family did it. If we reach this step, then everything will go according to plan. Li Sandow looked at the collected and smooth Dongfang, and just suddenly felt shivers on his back. This guy even took people's character into his calculations and made hunts for Yi Mo from multiple sides, all for the eventual benefit of Nanqing. This man was too hideous and scary. Lang Ji, send people immediately to discover Ning Qingxue's whereabouts and do as Dongfang, she says. Yi Mo is in Luotsang now. Try to get the news to him, Qian Longtu said decisively. Yes. Although Lang Ji's hand was disabled, his martial arts was still there. Compared to Wu Chang, he was more favored by Qian Longtu. Of course, Ning Qingxue didn't know about this. She was staying with Qi Wanqing in her company at Luotsang. Although they weren't able to stay with Yi Mo, they got along well. She even talked with Qi Wanqing more than Li Mumei, because the two had a common topic. Yi Mo, they even shared the bits and memories of Yi Mo they had. Perhaps their longing was too deep. Ning Qingxue even told Qi Wanqing about taking photos in pajamas with Yi Mo, and when Yi Mo looked at her body when she was asleep, it was as though telling her these would make Ning Qingxue feel that Yi Mo didn't leave her and was just by her side. Of course, Qi Wanqing didn't hide the fact that she took off her pants in front of Yi Mo. It was unexpected that the two girls became closer and closer, talking about these trivial memories, and even slept together at night. There were many times Ning Qingxue wanted to leave Luotsang and go back, but she didn't dare to leave. It was as though once she left, all her ties with Yi Mo would be severed, and the only tie was Qi Wanqing. Sometimes she felt her thinking was very weird, but she couldn't control it. Of course, Yemo didn't know Ning Qingxue was in Luo Tsang, and neither did Ning Qingxue. If she knew, perhaps she and Qi Wanqing would have came ages ago. Although both sides didn't know, they couldn't hide it from Nanqing despite Luo Tsang being Metal River's region. Lang Ji didn't need to do it himself to capture 2 women. He just ordered it. And as for how they took them, he only needed to send a few men. Plus, the 2 were living in the same company. This wasn't hard for them at all. Qi Wanqing's company wasn't in the rural district, but they had a factory in the rural area. She and Ning Qingxue didn't live in the factory, but at the company. The ownership to the business building was under her mom's name. But now, after her mom helped her establish the company was pretty much Qi Wanqing's. The 5 men sent by Lang Ji were decent in fighting power, but they didn't plan to abduct Ning Qingxue at the building, because there were security around the building after all. They planned to wait outside after the 2 finished eating dinner and abduct both of them. As for Qi Wanqing, although she wasn't a target, but since they were abducting Ning Qingxue, she couldn't be let off. Of course, Yi Mo didn't know of Qian Longto's plan. After moving to his new place, he moved the silver heartgrass seeds over. After this was done, he was prepared to go to Beijing. Before he left, he specially told Lu Xiaozhen and Yu Eru to set up the online clinic. After all, selling artifacts wasn't too secure, and he needed lots of money for his future cultivation. He needed a stable source of income. Otherwise, always going out to make money wasn't good for his cultivation. Yi Mo planned to go straight for Qianlongtu after coming back from Beijing, but he needed to leave the border if he wanted to do that. He could only go to Lihu for help if he wanted to cross the border. Chapter 129. I miss him. Chapter 129. I miss him. Although Ning Qingxue didn't want to leave Luo Tsang, Ning Qingxue knew she had to leave. Not only was her parents rushing her, she also felt she needed to go back and think what sort of feelings she had for Yi Mo. Why couldn't she let it go? Qingxue, you're troubled? Qi Wanqing knew Ning Qingxue should be thinking about Yi Mo, but she still couldn't help but to ask. After asking, she found her question to be unnecessary. Ning Qingxue shook her head. Wanqing, I think I should leave. Some people, it's better to think about them at heart. You don't have to get them or be with them. I think time will take away everything. Qi Wanqing fell silent. She didn't know how to comfort Ning Qingxue, because she felt the exact same. They originally thought Yi Mo didn't have someone he liked, and Ning Qingxue seemed to have fallen in love. Other than admitting she liked Yi Mo, she told her everything else. Whether it was Ning Qingxue or that masked woman, they were all better than her. She couldn't reply to Ning Qingxue because she was also a part of it too. The 2 were just walking silently, with not one of them wanting to bring up that topic again, because the topic they liked have become melancholic over time. But at this moment, a few people suddenly charged from behind them. The 2 people sliced with their palm to the necks of Ning Qingxue and Qi Wanqing. Another 2 followed, wanting to bring the 2 away. Qi Wanqing always stayed in the army and had quick reactions. She subconsciously avoided her neck, but her shoulder still received a strike. It was burning with pain. She immediately knew things weren't good, but before she could react, the other 2 charged towards her. Ning Qingxue didn't have any reactions, but when that palm was close to her neck, a faint yellow circle emitted from Ning Qingxue's bracelet and formed a barrier. The person who tried to attack her was shot back meters away by the yellow barrier. He sat on the ground in shock, looking at Ning Qingxue. He still didn't know what shot him away. It seemed to be a yellow light, but now he saw nothing. Meanwhile, Ning Qingxue looked at her wrist in shock. She clearly heard a crack from her bracelet, as though something exploded. Then a yellow light shot out from her wrist and formed a yellow ray of barrier. Although it was in a short instant, it had already deflected her attacker meters away. What happened? The 2 attacking Qi Wanqing rushed to the man on the ground and asked. This thing was out of their expectation. Not only was Qi Wanqing stronger than anticipation, Ning Qingxue seemed to be countless times stronger than Qi Wanqing. She seemed to know evil magic. A yellow light flashed, and they were shot out meters away. This was too absurd. If both women were this strong, then the 5 of them wouldn't be enough. Qi Wanqing and Ning Qingxue reacted. They knew that someone was attacking them. Although Qi Wanqing didn't know what that yellow light was from Ning Qingxue's hand, it didn't mean she wasn't going to counterattack. Her reaction was faster than those few people, and didn't even think before calling, "Little wolf, go bite them." A black shadow dashed, and the man still fighting with Ning Qingxue was bitten on the neck. The man immediately turned to run, but just when he reached his partners, he fell to the ground. Retreat. The last man who came saw 4 of them failed capturing the 2 women, and one of them was down. He immediately knew there was a wrong estimation by his boss, so he immediately called to retreat. "Little wolf, come back." Qi Wanqing saw the 4 take away the man on the ground, and Little Wolf was still going to attack, so she stopped it. She knew Little Wolf would kill. These few wanted to kidnap them. It didn't seem all right to her to kill them all, and she had to hurry and tell her father. Ning Qingxue had completely awoke and looked at Qi Wanqing in surprise. "Wanqing, was that Little Wolf the one you told me Yemo gave to you?" Qi Wanqing nodded. "Yes, Little Wolf is quite strong. Those that it bites will die unless ye brother saves him." Ning Qingxue suddenly thought of the yellow light in her hand. She looked down and saw that the 3 beads on her wrist had one broken. It was the jade bead of the bracelet. Ning Qingxue mumbled, and she was dumbfounded. "Qingxue, there was a yellow light from your hand, and it formed a barrier deflecting your attacker. What was that?" Qi Wanqing also asked. Ning Qingxue didn't seem to hear Qi Wanqing's words and just mumbled. "So the bracelet he gave Jingwen has such effect, this. No wonder he calls it the 6 beads of fortune. This is what it meant. It can block bad fortune 6 times. Suddenly, Ning Qingxue felt bitter. He gave the bracelet to Jingwen and Little Wolf to Wanqing, but he didn't give anything to her. She suddenly felt bad. Was she really that atrocious? Thinking about this, Ning Qingxue felt guilty. Why should he give something to her? He helped her block the demon from the Song family and saved her life. Right, last time, Su Jingwen said she thought Yemo was the master who sold the runic charm and later knew he wasn't, but didn't she have a few runic charms on her now? Ning Qingxue suddenly took out the fireball charm and looked at it, but eventually she didn't test it and just grabbed it in her hands. "Qingxue, what's wrong?" Qi Wanqing asked. She suddenly thought of Su Jingwen. After knowing the meaning of 6 beads of fortune, would she regret giving it to her? She also thought wrong of Yemo's hearty gift, but even if she did, the beads of her bracelet were still given to Su Jingwen by Yemo. The bitterness in Ning Qingxue grew. Regardless of authenticity, she was his wife, but no. Ning Qingxue suddenly, though that Yemo did give her something. Wasn't the things in the box given to her by him, much less he lived with her for more than 20 days. Although she took them, but Yemo also came back once and treated her using the medicine inside. But Yemo didn't take anything in there away, not even his identity. And those 3 beads were in the box too, but he didn't take them away either. What did this mean? This mean that Yemo's things were for her. Sometimes things didn't have to be said out loud. What was in that box? Identity, runic charm, letter, medicine bottles, golden needles, and some money and receipt. This was all he had at the time. He gave her everything he had. But what did she give Yemo? Other than using him as a shield and wasting his money, she even caused him to be hunted down by the Song family. And now, she was blaming Yemo for not giving her something. Was she really a bad woman? Ning Qingxue took out a few runic charms and held them tightly in her hands while tears circulated in her eyes. Sorry, Yi Mo. I miss you. At this moment, she finally realized that she really did love Yi Mo, not due to other reasons. Ning Qingxue had never thought that she would finally understand herself after being ambushed. Sometimes could memory really be washed away by time? Some people just couldn't be forgotten, even with time. Qingxue, are you okay? Qi Wanqing saw the tears Ning Qingxue try to hold back and asked worriedly. I miss him. For the first time, Ning Qingxue didn't find an excuse and just said she missed Yi Mo. Chapter 130. Seeing Metal Nails Once Again. Chapter 130. Seeing Metal Nails once again. How is Qi Shan? In a normal-looking van sat 4 people and 1 young man lying down. The one who asked was the driver. He might not make it. His face is completely black, and he's not breathing, someone replied. The driver remained silent for a while before saying, We'll immediately go to HQ, San Kai, call Brother Lang, and notify him. Just say, the target is too difficult. We have lost a brother. Okay, before the youth spoke, the driver's phone sounded. San Kai. Wait, let me pick up a call. The driver connected to the call. The car was going slower and slower until it stopped by the side of the road. Brother Lang, I was just going to call you. The driver just realized Lang Ji called when he picked up. Lang Ji's bleak voice sounded. Black Snake, don't move yet. Wait till I come. I've just received news that Qi Wanqing is from the military and is still serving. She is a special ops, so she must quite strong. Before we attack, we need to make a new plan. I'm on my way to Luo Tsang. Black Snake fell silent for a while before saying, Brother Lang, your words are late. We just attacked, and we lost a brother. That Qi Wanqing does seem strong, but that Ning Qingxue seemed to be stronger. She can easily kick someone a few meters away. On top of that, she has a projectile weapon that kills immediately. The poison on it is very strong. Black Snake obviously thought Little Wolf was a projectile and still felt fear when he mentioned it. The 5 of them came together. He was the head, but he was responsible for driving. Originally, he was planning to abduct Ning Qingxue and Qi Wanqing and leave immediately. He didn't expect to not only fail, but also lose 1 man. What? Lang Ji sank into contemplation and said after a while, Wait for me at HQ. I'll be there soon. Lang Ji didn't expect things to turn out this way. Not only was Qi Wanqing absurdly strong, but so was Ning Qingxue. It seemed he was too careless. Probably even Dongfang, she didn't expect Ning Qingxue to be so strong. Yi Mo was at his new mansion seeing if he could set up a simple defensive formation. Although he didn't have much material, a simple defense formation could solve a lot of problems on Earth. However, as soon as he came out, he saw a van parked outside the mansion on the road. There was only 30 or so meters between them. Yi Mo scanned with his spirit sense and heard the name Ning Qingxue. Not only so, he also heard Qi Wanqing's name. Moreover, Yi Mo also found that there was a dead man. Just looking at the wound, he knew it was bitten by Little Wolf. Combined with the phone call, Yi Mo worked out the story behind it. These few people went to capture Ning Qingxue and Qi Wanqing, although he didn't know why they were doing so. But Yi Mo immediately had killing intent. He could even guess it was related to him. At this moment, the van started driving again, and Yi Mo followed it without thinking. If Lang Ji knew that he was noticed by Yi Mo because of his call, and the van coincidentally parked outside of Yi Mo's residence, he would be full of regret. Even he only knew that Yi Mo relocated, but didn't know to where. However, Lang Ji believed that as long as Yi Mo was still in Luo Tsang, he would be able to find out. The van twisted and turned. Yi Mo followed for a whole hour before the van drove into a rural district manor. Yi Mo scanned with his spirit sense. There was only 1 person in the manor, but this person already knew things went wrong. As soon as the van drove in, the man went to help carry the dead man. Ajahn closed the door. After Black Snake got off, he ordered while he walked inside the manor. "No need. I already helped you close the door." A sudden voice interrupted him. Black Snake turned around and immediately saw a normal-looking youth at the doorway. The manor was indeed closed. "Who are you?" As soon as Black Snake said these words, he pulled out his sword. So did they people behind him and quietly surrounded Yi-Mo. He didn't know if they had guns, but Yi-Mo didn't see any of them take one out. "I'm Yi-Mo. I think you should know something about me." Yi-Mo wasn't sure who these people were sent by, but since they wanted to capture Ning Qingxue, perhaps they were from the Song family. "You are Yi-Mo," Black Snake heard the man at the door say. He was Yi-Mo, and immediately his heart skipped a bit. He wasn't a normal gang member and had some status in Nanqing. Many people in Nanqing didn't know Yi-Mo, but it didn't mean he didn't know. He even knew that they were kidnapping Ning Qingxue due to this Yi-Mo. He didn't believe he would be a match for Yi-Mo. He had heard that of the 20 people who attacked Yi-Mo in the desert, no one was left alive. At that time, the people there even had guns, but they were all still killed by Yi-Mo. He even heard Lang Ji say that ever since Yi-Mo came back from the desert, he seemed to have gotten stronger. Now, Yi-Mo was standing in front of his eyes, and he didn't know what to do. Although Yi-Mo was barehanded and he had 5 men with swords, he still felt he was naked under Yi-Mo's glare. It was obvious that the other 5 also heard about Yi-Mo and stopped in their steps. 3 of them didn't even think and tried to call, but before they even unlocked their phone, the 3 were nailed to the ground. Nail. Metal nails again, Black Snake, and the remaining 2 looked at the foreheads of the 3 that went down. Red seeped from there, and immediately they felt cold. Yi-Mo was decisive in killing. He knew these people were either from the Song family or Nanqing. Regardless of who, he would still kill them. "You guys came for me? Or should I say came to look for trouble with me?" Yi-Mo plainly said. Black Snake, who had been part of many gang clashes, slashed countless people, and even been slashed, felt he was shaking after speaking just one word. He was scared. Someone who had never known fear was feeling horror. Yi-Mo wasn't a human. He was a demon. If it was someone stronger than him, he could still charge up and slash him. Even if he was killed in the end, he would feel his death was hot-blooded. But faced against Yi-Mo, he actually didn't have any courage to charge up. Yi-Mo didn't even need a sword to fight him. He only needed 1 metal nail, and Black Snake would fall to the ground like the other 3 without any resistance. Just 1 metal nail. No matter how hot-blooded he was, he couldn't change this fact. San Kai and Ajahn's face was worse. They have heard of Yi-Mo and knew he was tough, even going as far as killing their big boss's only son, yet still able to freely roam. Even their big boss didn't have a direct way of dealing with him and needed to abduct his woman to threaten him. From this, it could be seen that this person wasn't someone they could handle. "Aren't you going to invite me in for a seat?" Yi-Mo smiled and said, "Yes, please," Black Snake dryly said. For the first time, he felt so worried speaking to someone. For the first time, he felt the word please was so hard to say. Even to Lang brother, he would talk casually and not be so reverent. I won't be polite then." Then he threw a few furballs casually, and the 4 bodies on the ground turned to ash. The stories were true. San Kai and Black Snake looked at the ashes on the ground in shock. They couldn't say anything. In the gang, he heard that Yi-Mo could fly in the sky and travel under earth, could shapeshift, and even spit out the Samaya true fire. Although he didn't spit it out just now, but the fire could still incinerate human body. If that wasn't Samaya true fire, what was? Arg! Ajahn couldn't take it. But he just spoke 1 word and was turned into nothingness by Yi-Mo's fireball. Black Snake and San Kai didn't dare to talk even more. Now, Yi-Mo was the embodiment of the devil for them. They've been in gang business for a long time, spilling blood and seeing bodies, but now Yemo killed with just a few drops of red. Before the blood even gushed out, the person would be turned to ash. Yemo walked into the room and sat down. Looking at the shaking black snake and San Kai, he said calmly, "Isn't gang life all about killing and licking blood? Why are you like this after I just killed a few?" Black Snake gradually calmed down. Although his body was calm, but he was still very frightened in his heart, but was much better than before. Hearing Yemo's words, he couldn't help to think, killing and licking blood, there must be blood to lick. By the looks of it now, they were worse than meat on the chopping block. The good thing was Yemo didn't continue this topic, and just asked, "Are you from the Song family or Nanqing? Speak." Chapter 131. Lang Ji. Chapter 131. Lang Ji. Black Snake sighed. Now he had to say it. He didn't wait for Yemo to ask, and just told him everything he knew. Although Black Snake was limited in what he knew, Yemo already understood that Qian Longtu abducted Ning Qingxue to threaten him. As for how, he didn't know. Qian Longtu, Nanqing again. Yemo was more furious. He was planning to let them live a few days more, but he actually didn't want to live. Lang Ji is coming today. Yemo thought that if he wanted to go to Africa, then he would probably need Lang Ji. Before Black Snake replied, Yemo detected Lang Ji with his spirit sense. He just brought a driver. Yemo waved his hand and stopped Black Snake from talking anymore. The door was half closed, and when Lang Ji got off, he walked straight into the room. He thought that Black Snake and the others should be waiting for him in the room. Perhaps he was occupied, so he didn't think about why Black Snake didn't come out to greet him. When Lang Ji entered the room, he was shocked because the person sitting there was no other than the person he didn't want to see the most. He really couldn't understand how Yemo was here, but he immediately realized that their plan was exposed. The driver who came in with Lang Ji obviously didn't know Yemo, but looking at the scene, he seemed to understand what was going on. "Lang Ji, I've been waiting for you." Seeing Lang Ji's shocked face, Yemo blandly said. Lang Ji reacted and said, "How are you here?" Yemo scanned him and said, "You don't have the right to ask questions here. Who do you think you are? How dare you be impolite to Brother Lang?" Although the driver guessed Yemo's identity, but Yemo dared to be rude to Lang Ji, so he immediately shouted, "Who am I?" Yemo raised his hand, and a metal nail had pierced the driver's throat, killing due to one sentence. Yemo was indeed too cocky. Lang Ji's heart burned with fury, but he knew he was no match for Yemo, so he could only suppress it. He understood that in Yemo's eyes, he was no different to his little goons. Black Snake and San Kai just kept their heads low. They already knew Yemo was merciless. He never even spoke of why he killed, but he just killed if it displeased him. It was as though, in his eyes, life wasn't life. Yemo was more suited to live the gang life than him. "Why are you abducting Ning Qingxue and Qi Wanqing? Tell me, and I can consider letting you go." Yemo's tone was plain, but his fury was no less than Lang Ji's. He already told Lang Ji to go warn Qianlong but they still dared to attack him. However, they just changed the target to people close to him. Qianlong had already been listed by Yemo as someone who wasn't allowed to live a day longer. "Keep dreaming. Even if I die, I won't betray Chairman," Lang Ji hatefully said. Hearing Lang Ji's words, Yemo was happy instead of angry. Lang Ji didn't say he didn't know, just that he wouldn't say. However, this was no problem for Yemo. If he wanted Lang Ji to speak, he had 100 ways, but he was already a stage 3 Qi gathering cultivator. If he couldn't even deal with an ordinary martial artist, he would really lose face. He didn't even ask twice and just raised his hand. 3 metal nails flew out, all hitting Lang Ji's head. The absurd thing was the nails only went in by half. No blood came out. After Lang Ji was shot by the 3 nails, he immediately became dumb. Now tell me why Qianlong Tu wants you to abduct Ning Qingxue and Qi Wanqing. Yimo's voice was still cold, but Lang Ji nodded. Hearing Lang Ji tell Dongfang she's planned without leaving out any detail, even how Zisu and her master left, Black Snake and San Kai just felt cold shivers down their back. This was not because of Dongfang's plan, but because even someone like Lang Ji couldn't resist Yimo's means. Yimo's face got worse. This Dongfang, she was really someone, although he wouldn't be scared of Qianlongto's army nor being surrounded by them. But after this, Ning Qingxue would probably die. Qi Wanqing would be affected too. And with his personality, if something happened to Qi Wanqing and Ning Qingxue due to him, he would definitely slaughter the Song family. Once he did that, his only way would be overseas. This Dongfang, she really was someone. He didn't even meet Yimo, but based on what he did, Dongfang Shi's calculations were immaculate. If he didn't give Qi Wanqing Little Wolf, or if Ning Qingxue wasn't with Qi Wanqing, then the first step to the plan would have succeeded. But no matter how Dongfang Shi calculated, he didn't expect Ning Qingxue to be with Qi Wanqing, and didn't expect Qi Wanqing to have something as strong as Little Wolf. Even more so, he didn't expect this thing to be known by Yimo. But even if Yimo didn't know, it would be impossible to take away Ning Qingxue and Qi Wanqing with Little Wolf there. But the success rate of this thing itself was too great. In other words, if Ning Qingxue wasn't in Luo Tsang, this plan would have succeeded already. Dongfang Shi, what a sinister person. Yimo said Dongfang Shi's name again and decided he must kill him. Otherwise, he really wouldn't feel comfortable. If Yimo was still stage 2 now, he would use their plan to make the Song family and Nanqing fight again. But that was unnecessary now. He was stage 3 Qi gathering, so he didn't need these plans. He could just bring the battle to their door. It was no good in delaying his attack on Qianlongto's HQ. With Dongfang Shi being so cunning, the slightest clue could let them escape. Thinking about this, Yimo asked how you go back after succeeding. I will leave some people to deal with Yimo while I take my men back to Mangjiang. There's a direct flight from Mangjiang to Sri Lanka. From there, we have our own flight to fly directly to Sai Na Peninsula. Lang Ji's reply was very detailed. Yimo sighed. Other than him, anyone else, or even any other country, wouldn't be able to do anything about Qianlongtu. He even had his own flight in Sri Lanka. This meant he could have it in other places as well. No wonder he was so cocky. He did have the basis to be cocky. If it was a normal people, what could they do to Qianlongtu even if that person was an ancient martial arts master? Would they be able to go to Sai Na Peninsula? Yimo turned his head and looked at Black Snake. If we get to Sri Lanka, would you be able to find the plane to Sai Na Peninsula? Black Snake nodded. He knew that if he said no, then he would be the next to be killed. Yimo waved his hand, and the 3 nails flew back to his hand. Lang Ji regained consciousness, but he didn't say anything. It was obvious that although he was controlled, he still knew what he said. Take me to Sai Na Peninsula, and I can let you go, Yimo blandly said to Lang Ji. Lang Ji seemed to hesitate, but he immediately said, Kill me, I won't take you there. If you want to go, Black Snake can take you. I don't know what sort of person Qianlongtu is, but I'm sure that you are just a subordinate to him. That's all. I don't know how you entered Nanqing, but if you didn't have much ability, someone like Qianlongtu wouldn't take you. You know this. Seeing that Lang Ji wasn't so adamant on his refusal, he immediately had the thought of taking in Lang Ji. He didn't need Lang Ji to listen to him, but just wanted someone to take control of Nanqing instead of Qianlongtu. Lang Ji had some loyalty, but not someone who is stubborn in loyalty. Seeing Lang Ji's eyes flash with hesitation, Yimo knew it was not because his words moved Lang Ji, but it was more of Lang Ji thinking if he died for Qianlongtu like this, would Qianlongtu even remember him? For 3 minutes? Although his tone was tough, he still hesitated when given a chance at life. He thought about himself. Although he had been in Nanqing for many years, each time he brought up wanting to use Nanqing to help him get revenge. Qian Longtu just started to persuade him, always making him wait longer. Then he thought about this time. If he wasn't just injured on the hand, but completely disabled, how would Qian Longtu treat him? He really wasn't sure. But following Qian Longtu for so long, he knew of Qian Longtu's personality. One thing was certain, and that was Qian Longtu wouldn't feed someone useless. Seeing Lang Ji contemplate, Yi Mo coldly said, "I will definitely kill Qian Longtu. Do you think Qian Longtu can escape from my hands? I'm not persuading you. I just don't want too much hassle. After I kill Qian Longtu, I need someone to take over Nanqing. You're just more suitable if you don't want to. I will still kill Qian Longtu. It's just that you won't be taking over Nanqing." What? Lang Ji looked at Yi Mo in shock. He didn't believe that Yi Mo actually said he would be controlling Nanqing. That was almost like being an emperor. And I can even cure your hand. Other people can't do anything about it. But that doesn't mean I can't, Yi Mo said once again. He didn't know Qian Longtu's character and didn't have a good way to persuade Lang Ji. If Lang Ji still rejected, then he wouldn't waste time and just kill him straight away. Okay, I agree. However, I have one condition. Lang Ji suddenly raised his head and said, Chapter 132, Leaving Casually. Chapter 132, Leaving Casually. Speak, Yi Mo blandly said. Lang Ji looked at Black Snake and San Kai until their hair were on edge before saying, "Although I know that Qian Longtu was just using me to work for him, he still saved me before. I don't want to fight him, so I can't help you against him, even if it's just bringing you into the headquarters of Nanqing." Yi Mo sneered. "Do you think I need your help with killing Qian Longtu? If you really don't want to be this new leader of Nanqing, then I can grant you that wish." He didn't think Lang Ji had any right to argue with him. Lang Ji knew that Qian Longtu was using him, but he still couldn't harden his heart to attack him. This meant that he was indeed loyal, but not someone to do great things. "I can take you to Sai Na Peninsula, but I won't participate in other things." Seeing Yi Mo unhappy, Lang Ji knew his request was unreasonable. He wanted to be boss, but didn't want to put any effort. Yi Mo, however, said, "If you can't show your decision, then don't worry about it. I won't let you kill Qian Longtu, but I need you to take me into the HQ of Nanqing. Once I see Qian Longtu, it's not that I can't go in, but I need your pledge of allegiance. You must do it. If you are still fearful, then I have no use for you." Although he was saying things like that, Yi Mo also knew it was hard to find someone to replace Qian Longtu. At the very least, this person needed to have certain power and status in Nanqing. Otherwise, even if he found someone else, once he left Nanqing, then that person would die soon after. After hesitating for a while more, Lang Ji finally made his decision. "Okay, but I won't attack." Yi Mo smiled. He knew Lang Ji would agree. Although this sort of person was loyal, he didn't take Qian Longtu's life to be more important than his own. Seeing Lang Ji agree, Black Snake shivered. Next, Yi Mo would perhaps kill him. With Lang Ji showing the way, Yi Mo had no need of him. Thinking about this, Black Snake quickly bowed to Yi Mo and said, "Brother Yi, San Kai, and I wish to be under the leadership of Brother Lang. Please grant our wish, Brother Yi, and let us go." Hearing Black Snake's words, San Kai also hurried forward and bowed. Yi Mo thought this Black Snake was quite intelligent. He didn't beg for his life, but instead said he wished to work for Lang Ji. It could be seen that he was very clear on the situation. He begged for survival and said he would work for Lang Ji because Lang Ji is the successor to Nanqing appointed by Yi Mo. They would only have a good life ahead if they worked for him. Yi Mo thought it would be so much better if Black Snake could be the new boss for Nanqing, but he didn't have a way to get him up there. After all, Black Snake's level was too low in Nanqing. Lang Ji felt it was weird that Black Snake and San Kai were pledging allegiance to him in front of Emo, but he understood that they were trying to stay alive. Sai Na Peninsula, Chong Long Tu and Dongfang Shi Wuchang and Li Sandao were discussing things anxiously in the meeting room. However, other than the four, there were a few other Nanqing members. It was because these few days, Lang Ji didn't report anything. They even heard news that Ning Qingxue was still in Luotsang and were not taken away. Since Ning Qingxue wasn't taken away, why didn't Lang Ji report back? Chairman, did something happen to Lang Ji? Li Sandao suddenly asked. Dongfang Shi frowned, but didn't talk. He was thinking, how could something happen to Lang Ji? Even if Qi Wanqing came from the military, it was not quite possible for her to kill or capture Lang Ji. Qian Longtu also frowned and said after a while, perhaps Lang Ji needed to make another plan. After all, this sort of thing can only be done once. And seeing how there's no reaction from Ning Qingxue and Qi Wanqing, they probably haven't made a move yet. Just when Qian Longtu finished his words, the phone sounded. A phone that could reach in here was definitely important. Qian Longtu signaled for Dongfang Shi to answer the call. Dongfang Shi picked up the phone, but the report from the call made him have cold sweat. Because Lang Ji didn't have news, Dongfang Shi sent scouts to Luotsang again. Qi Wanqing's father, Qi Yujun, was furious and actually mobilized the entire police force of Luotsang to find Qi Wanqing's attackers. It was said this even alerted the military, not just Luotsang, but also the places around Luotsang where there were an established police force as well as military. Dongfang Shi put down the phone and just felt his back cold. He just received news that Qi Wanqing and Ning Qingxue were fine, and now he received news of Qi Yujun doing a complete search in Luotsang. Dongfang Shi knew that not only did Lang Ji attack, but he also failed. However, he didn't even send word back, and neither did their people who went with him come back. This was a strange thing. With Lang Ji's abilities, even if he died, he would be able to find a way to send a message back. Now that no message was received, what did this mean? It meant that Lang Ji had betrayed Qian Longtu. Only Yemo would cause Lang Ji to dare to betray Qian Longtu, and he was sure that Yemo had the ability to kill Qian Longtu. Otherwise, even if Lang Ji died, he wouldn't betray Qian Longtu. Last time, Lang Ji reported that Yemo would come to Sai Na for revenge, and in the tape he brought back, Yemo did say that. He didn't even need to think to know that Yemo was really coming. It seemed he underestimated Yemo. No matter how he knew of Lang Ji's mission this time, there was only death waiting for Qian Longtu. For someone like Yemo, he wouldn't come to Sai Na alone if he wasn't sure he could kill Qian Longtu. But how could Yemo have so much power in Lang Ji's eyes? He could even slash his way into Sai Na. Although Dongfang Shi didn't trust Lang Ji's judgment and didn't even believe Yemo could fight into the HQ of Nanqing all by himself, he had always been a careful man. If Lang Ji betrayed and brought Yemo in, then the HQ would be a joke. Plus, Yemo could become invisible. He rather believed something to be true than testing it with his life. Plus, there was one point he didn't say out last time from the video. He said that Yemo may have used flammables, but he didn't say Yemo used hand signs before shooting the fireball. And there was also another point he didn't say. It was Yemo slicing Zisu's arm in midair. This definitely couldn't be explained by high tech. Plus, he had never seen the invisibility artifact, he said himself. It was all a guess. He only said that so that Qian Longtu wouldn't lose his fighting will. If Yemo really came to Sai Na and took in Lang Ji, then last time, the only reason he kept Lang Ji's life was so Qian Longtu would lose his fighting will. If that was the case, then this Yemo was indeed scary. Scary people wouldn't be scary after being killed, But since he couldn't even kill Yimo with his tactics, then it was too scary. Thinking about this, Dong Fangxi wanted to run. But all these thoughts flashed across Dong Fangxi's mind like a flicker, and his face was still normal. Brother Dongfan. The phone just then, Qian Longtu saw Dong Fangxi answer the phone, and was deep in contemplation, so he asked. Dong Fangxi smiled. Don't worry, brother. The phone just then was indeed by Lang Ji. He said he wants to attack tomorrow night. However, he told me his plan, and I felt there were some holes, so I told him to wait for my call. I'll go make the plan now and report to you later. Is that okay? Qian Longtu waved his hand. Go for it, and you don't need to report to me. Just make arrangements and contact Lang Ji directly. However, tell him to report everything on time, no matter what from now on. Yes, brother, I'll go now. Then Dong Fangxi smiled and nodded to Wu Chang and Li San before exiting. Chairman, why didn't Dong Fang say why Lang Ji hadn't been in contact? The few kept talking, and just when Qian Longtu decided to end the meeting, Li Sandao suddenly said. Qian Longtu was dazed as he thought about it. Indeed, Lang Ji hadn't been in contact for many days. Since he made a call, he should say why he hadn't been in contact. Why didn't Dong Fangxi say it? Qian Longtu subconsciously said. Perhaps Brother Dong Fang didn't take note of it. But then he thought that they were just talking about it. So how could Dong Fangxi forget about it? Even Wu Chang felt Dong Fangxi's actions were weird. He rarely spoke in the meetings, but this time he also spoke chairman before Dong Fang advisor's tactics came easily. He usually made them as the meeting progressed, but why does he have to leave and then make it this time? With Wu Chang's reminder, Qian Longtu's mind suddenly jolted, and he immediately remembered Dong Fangxi's usual behavior and his carefulness. He was indeed quite odd today. For him, abducting 2 women was a small issue, so why did he need to leave and think? This wasn't logical. Thinking about this, Qian Longtu said, immediately check who called. Just then, the results came out in less than a minute. The call wasn't by Lang Ji, but instead by the scouts sent to Luo Tsang. Not good. Hearing this news, Qian Longtu immediately knew things went wrong. Dong Fangxi dared to trick him. This had never happened before. Bring Dong Fangxi here immediately. Then, he supplemented, dead of alive. Soon, a soldier rushed in and reported. A few minutes again, Dong Fang advisor had left through a helicopter. As for where he went, we don't know yet. Soon, a soldier rushed in and reported. A few minutes again, Dong Fang advisor had left through a helicopter. As for where he went, we don't know yet. What? Qian Longtu's face was pale. He didn't expect that Dong Fangxi actually dared to run away. He planned more than 90% of the tactics for Nanqing, and he knew everything about Nanqing. This Dong Fangxi was almost like the second in hand of Nanqing, but he actually ran away. Qian Longtu's face kept changing, but he eventually calmed down. He knew Dong Fangxi's wisdom all too well. If he could betray him and run away, it meant that Dong Fangxi no longer had any hopes for him. But he still had an army of 2,000. Was that not enough for a mere Yimo? However, Qian Longtu was still sane. He immediately thought that Dong Fangxi's tactics rarely failed. Even his viewpoints were mostly correct. Did he have to leave? Dong Fangxi could run, but where could he go? What place was safer that Sai Na for him? Suddenly, he felt his control wasn't strong enough. There were too many loopholes in the chain of command. If one needed to contact him before using the helicopter, then Dong Fangxi wouldn't be able to run away as well. Moreover, he found that a few of his trusted men didn't need to be reported to come in. This was also a loophole. Dong Fangxi was his advisor. There was no way he didn't know these loopholes, but he never reminded him. This meant that he was prepared to run a long time ago. Good one, Dong Fangxi. Even if I look through the entire world, I will capture you back, Qian Longtu said between clenched teeth as he smacked on the table. No, I want to see how many heads and hands this Yi-Mo has that forced even Dongfang she to betray me. Someone investigate the contents of that call. I will capture this Yi-Mo. I'll let him know that Qian Baihe, hasn't aged yet. Qian Longtu didn't feel the pain in his hand at all, and yelled, once again. No need, I'm here already. Yi-Mo's plain voice sounded in the meeting room. Qian Longtu's voice came to a sudden stop. He looked at the door in astonishment. He had multiple levels of guards, so how did Yi-Mo reach him without any sound? Soon he saw Lang Ji and his face became green again. Lang Ji, you heartless animal, you dare to betray me too. I will kill you. Qian Longtu was going to reach for his gun, but in his astonishment he found that his wrists could no longer move. A bloody red color was spreading across it, yet he didn't even feel pain. Metal nail? The metal nail of the legends? Lang Ji didn't say anything. Qian Longtu saw his wrist was shot by a metal nail, and his heart went cold. He knew he was gone today, but he didn't think Yi-Mo would be this strong. He could come in front of him without him noticing at all. This was too absurd. Even with Lang Ji's help, Lang Ji couldn't bring a stranger into his territory. Was his invisibility real? Qian Longtu had calmed down and he looked slowly at Lang Ji and then Wu Chang. He knew the only chance he had at living was for Wu Chang to hold Yi-Mo there, or perhaps get Lang Ji to turn sides again. A teen in his 20s, however, came running in and didn't even care about Qian Longtu because he was Lang Ji's close man, someone who Lang Ji brought into Nanqing after he joined. He gave a letter to Lang Ji, saying, before advisor Dongfang left, he told me to give this to you, saying it can save your life. Lang Ji immediately opened the letter, and there was just one line of words. When you were surrounded and attacked at Macau those years ago, it was planned by Qian Longtu. Lang Ji's face immediately changed. He didn't think that Qian Longtu, whom he had been so loyal for all this time, would use this type of means. Funny how he still worked with his life for more than a decade. He was worse than a pig. No wonder every time he said he wanted to annihilate his adversary, Qian Longtu would just say that the time wasn't ready yet. So this was it. No wonder when he was running away, he just happened to meet Qian Longtu at Macau. This was no coincidence. Qian Longtu liked to gamble, but he would never go to Macau to gamble. When he first started working for Qian Longtu, Nanqing wasn't as big as it was now. It could be said that there was a major share of work from him in Nanqing. It could be imagined that Qian Longtu heard about his name. Although Lang Ji offended someone strong and ran to Macau, he still used means to get Lang Ji to work for him. Lang Ji couldn't think why Qian Longtu's advisor would give him this hint, and he didn't have the time to think. He just scrunched up the paper and threw it at Qian Longtu. Qian Baihe, no wonder you're always delaying my revenge. It was done by yourself. F***CK. And I still say that I am indebted to you. I'm going to kill you myself today. Yi-Mo didn't look at the letter, but he could see from Lang Ji's infuriated expression that Qian Longtu seemed to have tricked him. He was thinking if he should kill Lang Ji after he was finished with his things, but now it seemed that it was no hurry. Perhaps there was more use for Lang Ji. Seeing Lang Ji charge towards Qian Longtu, Li Sanao immediately stopped Lang Ji. Lang Ji, you're injured now. You're no match for me. I don't want to attack my brother. Brother, F***CK off. Qian Longtu stabbed me in the back in order to get me to work for him, and I really thought he coincidentally saved me. Li San, are you also tricked by this bastard like me? Lang Ji was furious. Li Sanao shook his head, however. The chairman did indeed save my life. I won't let you attack. Li Sanao was very clear how Qian Longtu was like to him. When he was begging on the streets, if Qian Longtu didn't take him away, he would have starved to death. He swore he would serve the chairman his entire life. However, his character was a bit clumsy, and there were many things he couldn't do. Although he was Qianlongtu's most trusted man, he could only help lead Qianlongtu's army. However, he didn't need to have the wisdom of Dongfang, she to lead a hired army. Yi Emo watched as Lang Ji and Li Sandao started fighting. They were actually evenly matched. It seemed that this Li Sandao was not bad. Wu Chong's eyes turned. He wouldn't be loyal to Qianlongtu, but he still needed to test Yi Emo. Although he felt he was no match for Xian Daoist, but he felt he wasn't far off. After all, he was only 30 or so. Meanwhile, this Yi Emo seemed younger than him. He didn't believe everyone had the same fortune as him. When he was 10, he met a master at Miaojiang. He had been practicing martial arts for 26 years now, and was working very hard. He wouldn't be distracted due to other things. He loved women, but for martial arts, he could even refrain from sleeping with one for 3 years. He didn't believe that Yi Emo, a mere 20 years old, could be a match for him. I'm Wu Chong, although I know you have some powerful weapons or artifacts, but I still want to try if you're really as strong as they say. Wu Chong smiled faintly and said, but before he finished, his leg had kicked out. All of Wu Chong's power was on his legs, but his killing move wasn't on his leg. No one knew his killing move because those who knew were already dead. Although he just fought with Xian Daoist for a few rounds, it was just a test battle, so he never used his killing move. The wind brought by his legs had a rhythm. Other than Yi Emo, no one could even feel it, but as soon as Wu Chong attacked, Yi Emo knew he was much stronger than Lang Ji. For someone like Wu Chong, his invisibility was useless because he was only stage 3 qi gathering. If he went invisible and used his qi, then Wu Chong would feel it. However, invisibility without any qi and killing intent had no attacking effect. Moreover, Yi Emo wanted to test how strong the masters here were, so he also kicked out. Seeing Yi Emo actually kick to his leg, Wu Chong surged with excitement. Even when Xiao Daoist was fighting him, he didn't dare to use his leg to clash with his. This Yi Emo was so naive. He would certainly break his leg. Bang, bang, bang. After a few clashing sounds, Yi Emo just felt his leg bones were a bit painful, but he stood where he was without moving. This was the first time he saw a normal martial artist train his leg to such a degree. Wu Chong took a few steps back. Although his legs didn't break, but that bone-wrenching pain almost made him yell out. He looked at Yi Emo in shock. It was just a quick clash, but he already kicked more than 20 times. However, Yi Emo didn't even move and just used his legs to kick him away. He never would have thought that his legs would be kicked to pain by someone else. He already spent more than 20 years training his leg. Even if Yi Emo was training in his mother's womb, he couldn't train his leg to be stronger than his. As Yi Emo mobilized his qi, the pain disappeared. Wu Chong's leg was this strong. This was greatly out of Yi Mo's expectation, but Yi Emo didn't want to waste time. He flung out a metal nail casually. Clink! Almost at the same time, Yi Emo shot out the nail. A white light flashed at Wu Chong's sleeve, and the nail was blocked. However, Wu Chong stumbled back a few steps and spat out blood. Yi Emo was shocked. It was the first time his metal nails were blocked. Wu Chong was more shocked. When he was kicked away by Yi Emo, he kept his attention on whether Yi Emo would shoot out the nail. He had already seen it once when Yi Emo attacked Qianlongtu. Wu Chong was more shocked. When he was kicked away by Yi Emo, he kept his attention on whether Yi Emo would shoot out the nail. He had already seen it once when Yi Emo attacked Qianlongtu. Even if he focused all of his attention, that metal nail still almost hit him. If he didn't have that killing move, then he would perhaps be dead. He didn't think his killing move was just to block one nail from him. He didn't even have time to attack Yi Emo. This Yi Emo was absurdly strong, so much stronger than he expected. Although he hadn't even used 10% of his leg power, but he knew he was no match for Yi Emo. If things continued like this, Death would be the only thing that awaited him. Leave, he had to leave now. Yi Mo saw that his metal nail was actually blocked by Wu Chang and felt surprised, although it wasn't as fast as a bullet, but it wasn't too far off. However, it was still blocked by Wu Chang. Suddenly, the white light from Wu Chang's sleeve flashed once again. The white light split into more than 10 rays which converged towards Yi Mo. Even Yi Mo felt a little threatened. Although Wu Chang's white light was very fast, it had nowhere to hide under Yi Mo's spirit sense. It was a small knife. He didn't think the knife could split into so many white blades. It seemed the knife was specifically made. Perhaps this was his killing move. Yi Mo raised both his hands as his chi surged. These white blades were all covered by his chi in front of him. Bang! At the same time, Wu Chang had ran to the window place. He didn't even have the time to kick, and just rammed with his head. Yi Mo sneered, and the white light in his hands were thrown back to Wu Chang. Wu Chang coughed, but soon disappeared. However, Yi Mo wasn't worried. He knew that the blades he threw back had struck Wu Chang's leg in a few places. No matter how strong Wu Chang's leg was, the blades would still break his tendons. Although Wu Chang had escaped outside of the range of his spirit sense, Yi Mo didn't care. The blades that Yi Mo shot back not only severed Wu Chang's leg tendons, but they would also gradually dissipate the life force on his legs. In other words, although Wu Chang escaped, his legs would be disabled. For someone who had all his power on his legs, Yi Mo couldn't be bothered to care after his legs were debilitated. He just stared at Qian Longtu. Qian Longtu didn't have Wu Chang's power to run through windows. Lang Ji had already beaten Li Sandao to the ground, but didn't kill him. At this moment, Lang Ji wanted to kill Qian Longtu more than Yi Mo. Even the other few members of Nanqing in the meeting were also killed by Lang Ji. Qian Longtu stared at Yi Mo with a pale face and said after a while, "If it wasn't for Lang Ji, this traitor, I have an army of a few thousand. Would I be scared of you?" Yi Mo walked a few steps and sat down. "It is useless to mobilize your army against me. That would just cause more death. Did you think you could trap me in the sea? You overestimate yourself. To me, your army is no different to a few chickens and dogs. I originally planned for you to live a few days extra, but I didn't expect you to seek death. You dare to look for trouble with me again." Then Yi Mo shook his head. Lang Ji stared at Qian Longtu with hatred. If Yi Mo wasn't here, he would have already charged on him already. But for Yi Mo, he had a deep fear. He knew no matter who he was, Yi Mo could kill him as easy as killing an ant. Qian Longtu gasped and suddenly felt like he had met the end of his road. Perhaps he looked glorious, but the person who really did what he wanted in Nanqing was Dongfang Shi. He did many things after listening to Dongfang Shi's words. If it wasn't for his plans, then perhaps he really would have been scared by the news Lang Ji brought back. Or perhaps even if Dongfang Shi persuaded him to run, he wouldn't believe his words. Qian Longtu had regretted challenging Yi Mo, but everything was too late now. At this moment, he wanted to kill Dongfang Shi more than Yi Mo, but he knew Yi Mo wouldn't let him go. "If you let me go, I'm willing to satisfy you with all my wealth. I was blinded and dared to challenge you. I just want to kill Dongfang Shi, who betrayed me and left." If there was a regretting medicine, Qian Longtu would rather be a turtle than act against Yi Mo. He never expected the world to have someone as horrifying as Yi Mo. Even people from the ancient martial arts wouldn't be so arrogant when facing his army. Xian Taoist was pretty strong, and perhaps even on par with Yi Mo, but he didn't dare to do anything to him. Although he couldn't do anything to Xian Taoist either, he still had the power to fend him off. But facing Yi Mo, he realized perhaps even Xian Taoist was no match for him unless Xian Taoist could break through. Hearing Qian Longtu's words, Yi Mo's heart moved. He wasn't going to let Qian Longtu go, but he thought of something else. This Nanqing had great power and wealth. If he could use it to help him find spirit grass, that would be great. Moreover, the people he could use right now was only Lang Ji. Thinking about this, he looked at Lang Ji and said, "Do what you need to do. After that, I need to have a talk with you." Lang Ji had been waiting for a long time. Now that Yi Mo made the call, he didn't hesitate at all and kicked. Qian Longtu would have never thought that he would die under the foot of his trusted man, Lang Ji. Before he died, even the person he thought he could trust the most, Dongfang Shi, betrayed him. Seeing Lang Ji kill Qian Longtu, Yi Mo looked at Li Sanao. He didn't ask Lang Ji how to deal with him. Although Lang Ji was accepted by Yi Mo, and he was also one of the powerhouses of Nanqing, it wouldn't be so easy for him to stabilize his rule. In Yi Mo's opinion, Lang Ji shouldn't have killed these few old men in the meeting. Instead, he should have made them surrender. But since Lang Ji killed them, Yi Mo didn't care. How to grasp power was Lang Ji's problem, not Yi Mo's. As for the internal battle, it didn't concern him if Lang Ji was killed. Nanqing, including Lang Ji, weren't good people. So what if they died? The more they fought, the more died, the better. But no matter what they did, as long as they didn't annoy him, he wouldn't care about them. "Brother Yi, please give me orders. My life is yours from now on." After killing Qian Longtu, Lang Ji suddenly felt the gloominess in his heart dissipate. Of course, Yi Mo wouldn't believe Lang Ji's words. For people like him, their own lives mattered the most. Yi Mo just sneered inside when Lang Ji said those words. However, he believed that Lang Ji no longer dared to hunt him or anything. If he did, then he would come back and send him to hell. "After you are done dealing with these things, I have some things I need you to do, but I haven't cleared them out yet. I'm going to Beijing immediately. When I come back, we'll go to that house and tell you the things I need you to do. If you can do it well, I don't mind curing your hands. If I'm unsatisfied, then don't expect me to treat you," Yi Mo blandly said. He wouldn't help Lang Ji up his power and treat his hands for no reason. Even if he were to treat his hand, that would depend on how much help Lang Ji is to him. Lang Ji could only nod to agree. "Okay, you need to organize Nanqing now. I won't manage it. Do what you like. I'm going." Afterwards, Yi Mo turned and left. As for whether Lang Ji could really control Nanqing, that was his business. Of course, Lang Ji knew Yi Mo was testing his ability. If he really couldn't take control of Nanqing, then to Yi Mo, he would have no value. Although he knew Yi Mo's idea, Lang Ji didn't dare to disagree. He quickly told Black Snake to send Yi Mo to the airport. Of course, Qi Yujun didn't get any result in the investigation at Luo Tsang. Not only did Nanqing's men disappear, even Metal River's men seemed to know something was happening at Luo Tsang and left. But unexpectedly, Ning Qingxue, who was originally planning to leave, stayed. Although Qi Wanqing didn't know for what reason, she didn't want Ning Qingxue to leave. If she was by herself, she could only go back to the military. This life was too much of a torture for her. "Qingxue, who do you think is trying to capture us too?" Qi Wanqing believed it could be related to Yi Mo, but she wasn't too sure. Ning Qingxue thought, and said with certainty, it should be due to Yi Mo, because both of us are related to him. These people probably want to capture us to threaten him. "So, you don't want to leave Luo Tsang because you're afraid you would be captured by these people and be used to threaten Brother Yi?" Qi Wanqing wasn't stupid. Seeing Ning Qingxue say with such certainty their abduction was related to Yi Mo, she could think of why Ning Qingxue wanted to stay. "MHM," Ning Qingxue nodded. "I owe him too much, and I've been dragging him down. Even the Song family's hunt on him was due to me, and he almost lost his life. If I'm captured by his enemies again, he would definitely be affected. When I go back to you state, I would be living with my mother. It won't be as safe as with you. At least there's little Wolf's protection here." I can't burden him anymore. Past mistakes are in the past, but if I'm still going to make mistakes, then even I wouldn't be able to forgive myself. Ning Qingshue's tone seemed distant. Seeing Qi Wanqing look at her in surprise, Ning Qingxue continued, "He's a man with great abilities. I just didn't know before. I'm thinking if those people are targeting him due to this, but regardless, if he had no worries, it would be better." Ning Qingxue thought about Yimo's pills and the protection beads he made, as well as those runic charms. For the first time, she felt she was far from understanding Yimo. Chapter 135. That 1%. Chapter 135. That 1%, the Yi family would have never thought that Nanqing, whom they were in heavy conflict with, would suddenly come asking for cooperation and even compensate for their losses. Their only request was for the Yi family to help the Song family in dealing with Yimo, the two great families of China, plus the greatest gang would be fighting a mere Yimo. The Yi family could already foresee Yimo's fate, but unexpectedly, before the Yi family had made up their mind, the Nanqing people suddenly went back and only left behind contact details. Although this seemed simple, the leader of the family, Yi Beirong, didn't immediately agree to Nanqing's request, and instead opened a meeting. Different from the previous ones, Yi Zifeng was included in the meeting. Yi Zifeng was Yimo's younger brother. Yi Beirong was straightforward about the situation and asked everyone to voice their opinion. "Grandpa, although Yimo's my brother, I wouldn't go out of my way to talk for him. From the family's perspective, we can't agree to Nanqing's request. No matter what, Yimo is from the Yi family. If we're going to hunt someone from our own family, we're using our own stick to beat ourselves. We would just be making a joke out of ourselves." As soon as Yi Beirong finished talking, Yi Zifeng spoke. No one would have thought the first one to talk would be Yi Zifeng, not just because he was the youngest, but also because it was his first time participating in the family meeting. As soon as Yi Zifeng finished, Yi Huang stood up and said, "Zifeng, that's wrong. Yimo is no longer a part of the Yi family. The entire Beijing knows this. Saying he's from the Yi family is an insult to us. I think this is a great opportunity for our family. Not only can we resolve our conflict with Nanqing, but we can also make our business return to its former state. There's not a single harm in this." Yi Zifeng immediately said, "What do you mean, Yi Huang? Even if Yi Mo isn't the biological son of my father, he's still been living in the family for so many years. So what if I call him brother? Is my brother not a part of the Yi family? You actually agreed to help Nanqing attack Yimo. Do you have no shame?" Yi Huang immediately stood up and was about to argue, but Yi Beiguang coughed on the side, and Yi Huang realized this was a family meeting and quickly sat down. However, the fury in his eyes grew. Yi Beirong didn't seem to see the fight between the two younger generations and slowly looked at the others and asked, "What do you guys think?" Yi Long said, "I think Yi Huang is right. Yimo is indeed no longer a part of the Yi family. It's hard for Nanqing to release such a signal of peace. Moreover, they are even willing to compensate us. I think we should accept it. After all, our fight with the Song family is clear, so we should join forces with Nanqing and trap Yimo even if it's just for show." "I agree," Yi Wenjin said. "I also agree," Yi Wenqi said. "Agree." No one didn't agree except for Yi Zifeng and Yi Beirong, who hadn't said his opinion. Besides Yi Beirong sat an old man, who also didn't say anything. Other than them, everyone else agreed with Yi Long's words. Yi Zifeng's face was pale. However, Yi Huang looked at him in satisfaction. Yi Zifeng didn't say anything. He understood that if there was anyone in the Yi family who was willing to help Yimo, it would only be him. Even his sister, Yi Ling, looked down on Yimo and hoped Yimo would get kicked out. However, his power was limited. When Yimo was studying at Ninghai, he could only send some of his pocket money to Wang Ying for Yimo to use. At this moment, Yi Zifeng just wanted to notify Yi Mo quickly to tell him not to come to Beijing. He was really worried, but he suddenly thought of something. His grandpa knew that only he thought Yi Mo was still part of the family. Why did he still let him participate in this family meeting? Thinking about this, Yi Zifeng shook with excitement. Did his grandpa think the same way? Yi Zifeng never thought Yi Mo wasn't his brother. As for blood testing that Yi Mo wasn't of the same father as him, Yi Zifeng didn't believe that at all. He knew that his big uncle hoped to kick them both out of the family. However, Grandpa liked his father and him better. They couldn't kick him out, so they made up drama on Yi Mo. Although Yi Mo wasn't so achieving and allowed them to find a reason to kick him out, Yi Zifeng was always careful and wouldn't let them get a hold of him. However, his sister, Yi Ling, was still immature and was getting more distant with him and Yi Mo, and was instead getting closer with the people on his great-uncle's side. What do you think, Brother Jing? Yi Beirong suddenly looked at that old man sitting on the side. Everyone in the family knew this Brother Jing wasn't of the Yi family. As for why he could appear in this meeting, no one knew. This old man smiled and said, Beirong, you're making things hard for me. I shouldn't intervene with your family issues. After all, I'm not surnamed Yi. However, Yi Beirong actually nodded after hearing this and said, Okay, thank you for your hint. I understand. Everyone else looked at the leader in surprise, not knowing what he understood. That Brother Jing obviously said he didn't want to say anything. What did the leader understand? Yi Beirong sighed. There were two little elite men from the Yi family. In all of these people, he couldn't find one suitable heir. He already understood Brother Jing's words. He meant that Yi Mo was from the Yi family, so it was the Yi family's business. He also specially pointed out that he wasn't surnamed Yi. This meant that other than him, Yi Mo and everyone else was named Yi, but no one understood this meaning. Yi Beirong wasn't an idiot. If Yi Mo was a simple person, then Nanqing wouldn't need to use the Yi family and Song family to deal with him. It could be seen that Yi Mo had completely changed and was no longer the Yi Mo they knew. As for what encounters Yi Mo had, Yi Beirong didn't know. He only needed to know that Yi Mo was someone even Nanqing felt threatened by. Yi Beirong really wanted to see Yi Mo right now and see what sort of a person he had changed to. Even the leader of Nanqing, Qianlong too, felt so threatened by him. Even the Song family couldn't do anything to them. Everyone in the Yi family knew now that Yi Mo killed Song Shaoan. Not only the Yi family, but many people in Beijing knew this. Yi Beirong coughed and said, although Yi Mo isn't a part of the Yi family now, some things are hard to judge. For example, the DNA test was erroneous or some other misunderstandings may have occurred. Right now, we shouldn't conclude this. After all, Yi Mo also stayed in the Yi family. After being kicked out and hunted, the most extreme we should go to is not care. If we are to follow and hunt him too, then our Yi family would seem too shabby. Yi Beirong paused and looked at everyone before continuing. So, there's no need for us to help Nanqing hunt Yi Mo to further undermine our reputation. Our family isn't sustained using this relationship, and Nanqing attacked our business. No matter what, we are going to make them pay. We need to let them remember that the Yi family fears no one, even Nanqing. Yi Long, immediately go investigate what Yi Mo had done recently and report to me. Hearing the leader's words, Yi Wenjin seemed hesitant. Speak if you have something to say. Yi Beirong saw Yi Wenjin's hesitation. Father, if we search for news of Yi Mo, aren't we telling Nanqing that Yi Mo is really important to us? In that case, aren't we exacerbating our problems with Nanqing? Yi Wenjin asked. Yi Beirong sneered. I really feel ashamed for all of you. Is our family supposed to fear a gang organization? If we can't even fend off Nanqing, then there's no point to our existence. Plus, even if Nanqing doesn't look for our trouble, are we to let them go? Although his voice was no longer young, his attitude was extremely firm. After all, Dongfang, she wasn't a god. He was already sure that 99% of the people in the Yi family would agree to hunt Yimo, but he didn't calculate that 1%. Sometimes, not much people was needed to make the deciding call. Regardless, Nanqing couldn't even help themselves now, much less have time for Yi family's business. When Yi Mo returned to Luo Tsang and took his things, he took another $20,000 and addressed Lu Xiaozhu and Yu Eru on the online clinic before leaving for Beijing. Although he killed Qian Longtu this time and could take the money there, Yi Mo didn't. First, he wasn't short on money, and another was that Yi Mo would get Lang Ji to find spirit herbs for him. That would cost a lot, so he didn't take any money from Nanqing. What? You're saying that Yi Mo dares to just waltz into Beijing? Song Qiming received Song Hai's report and almost couldn't believe it. Did Yi Mo want to die? What? You're saying that Yi Mo dares to just waltz into Beijing? Song Qiming received Song Hai's report and almost couldn't believe it. Did Yi Mo want to die? But he hesitated for a moment before recovering his composure and immediately said, "Send a few people and bring him here. Nanqing is really useless. Still can't even deal with a little Yi Mo leader." Song Huan hesitated and seemed to have something to say. Song Qiming knew that Song Hai was very reliable and therefore gave him this important mission to him. If it was Song Hai's words, he would still think about it. Seeing Song Hai act like this, he knew there was something Song Hai wanted to say, so he immediately said, "If there's something, just tell me." "There's no other people here," Song Hai immediately said. "I don't think it's the right time to abduct Yi Mo now." Seeing Song Qiming's confused eyes, Song Hai said, "A few days ago, Yi Mo took the plane from Mang River to Sri Lanka, and 3 days ago, he just returned from Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka has a line that goes straight to Sinai Peninsula, so I think Yi Mo has been to Sinai Peninsula." Hearing Song Hai's words, Song Qiming dazed and subconsciously answered, "Yi Mo went to Sinai Peninsula? Then how does he have the life to come back? He killed Qian Longtu's son. Would Qian Longtu let him go?" Song Hai sighed. "Leader, that's the problem. There's no way Qian Longtu would let Yi Mo go, but Yi Mo returned unharmed. This is the problem. I don't know what's up, but other than Yi Mo killing Qian Longtu or Qian Longtu unable to do anything to Yi Mo, I really can't think of another reason." Hearing Song Hai's words, Song Qiming's eyes frowned more. If Song Hai's words were true, then Yi Mo was too powerful. He remembered the time when Yi Mo was cultivating at Ninghai and said, "Is Yi Mo really a student of ancient martial arts?" He thought before continuing, "If he isn't, then how can he go there and retreat? If he is, then things are tricky." Song Hai sighed and said, "Leader, don't worry. Yi Mo just went to Sri Lanka. We don't know if he went to Sinai. And even if he is a student of ancient martial arts, he wouldn't be from the hidden sects if he could stay so long in the normal world. At most, he's a desolate ancient martial artist's disciple. I've already sent people to investigate Sinai, so there should be some news today." Song Qiming nodded and still didn't talk when Song Hai's phone rang. Song Qiming signaled for Song Hai to pick it up. Song Hai picked up, and his face grew worse by the moment. "What's wrong?" Song Qiming saw Song Hai's face change and felt things weren't good. Song Hai took a deep breath and said, "I just received news. Something happened to Nanqing. Sinai is now shut down." According to the news, it is because Qian Longtu died. Now Lang Ji and the hierarchy of Nanqing are fighting for power. It's said to be very messy. What? Qian Longtu died? Song Qiming was shocked. Who is Qian Longtu? Someone who escaped with ease after so many years of the government hunting him. He rampaged in America and Europe and even established a gang base in Africa. Someone like this would die so easily? Song Chiming wouldn't believe it. Song Chiming suddenly thought of a problem. Song Hai said that Yi Mo could have gone to Sinai Peninsula, and then he immediately heard news of Qian Longtu dying. Song Hai also thought of this. The two looked at each other and said Yi Mo at the same time. Song Chimin suddenly shivered. If Yi Mo could really kill Qian Longtu amongst thousands of people, then killing people from the Song family would be all too easy. No wonder he just waltzed into Beijing. It seemed that he didn't even care about the Song family. He was someone so terrifying. Then who was his master? Who taught such a monster? Song Chiming suddenly remembered Song Shaowen driving off the cliff in the middle of the night. Things were too strange. Song Chiming finally calmed down after a while and said, immediately hold a family meeting. Tell everyone in the family not to get into conflict with Yi Mo, and immediately investigate what Yi Mo had been doing recently. Immediately, then, Song Chiming said to Song Hai, did you tell Hu Qiu's master about what happened to him? Song Hai immediately said, Hu Qiu's master is on holiday, and we can't contact him yet. Once he comes back, I will immediately tell him about Hu Qiu. Song Chiming nodded. Immediately go hold the family meeting. As soon as Yi Mo got off the plane and went into the tunnel, he saw that the airport outside was full of people. These people had small signs saying, I love Tan Fei, or Welcome Tan Fei. It seemed some pop star or celebrity was coming to Beijing. Judging by the looks of it, she had quite a lot of fans. Excuse me, the youth behind Yi Mo thought Yi Mo was walking too slow. Tan Fei, don't worry, we're already at Beijing. Are we that short on time? Plus, this place is indeed narrow. A crisp voice interrupted Tan Fei. That youth didn't rebuke and said, okay, Sister Fei. It's just that there are a lot of fans outside. I'm afraid that there'll be a ruckus. It's better to go somewhere more spacious later. As soon as the youth said this, Yi Mo knew that the person behind should be Tan Fei. Yi Mo didn't intentionally block her way. After all, there was a lot of people. Even if he moved aside, there would still be people blocking in front. However, as soon as they got out of the tunnel, Yi Mo moved to the side. This Tan Fei had a few big luggage cases. It would be better to let her go first. After all, he was empty-handed. Seeing Yi Mo move to the side as soon as they got out of the tunnel, Tan Fei politely said, thank you. Yi Mo shook his head. He didn't think that was necessary, but this tunnel was indeed narrow. There was a lot of people here today. It seemed that a lot of flights were coming at the same time, and the inspection ahead was slow. He wondered if something happened today. Even after moving aside, Tan Fei and the youth only moved a bit further and stopped. Thank you for before. This is my new album with my signature, my newest one. It's for you. Tan Fei's voice was very crisp, but she made a living out of it. Now, because of the security ahead, they stopped for now, so Tan Fei took it out for Yi Mo. She saw Yi Mo dressed ordinarily and let her move ahead and believed him to be her fan. Plus, she felt that this person was very calm, so she gave her album as thanks. A lot of people looked at Yi Mo in admiration. They all knew Tan Fei, but they needed to keep their composure, so they didn't rush up for signature. However, none of them expected that Tan Fei would give one album to Yi Mo. Yi Mo looked at the album and waved his helplessly hand. Sorry, I don't have a place to put it, and I don't like listening to music. It would be a waste giving it to me. Although he rejected the gift, Tan Fei gave him a good impression. This woman was indeed pretty. She had thick, long eyebrows. Although she wasn't as good-looking as Ning Qingxue, her faint makeup did give her a unique taste. Hearing Yi Mo's words, Tan Fei awkwardly took her hands back. She didn't think that someone would reject an album she gave and would speak in front of her that he didn't like songs. That was unimaginable. Not only was Tan Fei shocked, but so was everyone around. Even if one didn't like songs, one should show some manners at least. Even if he would throw it away later, he should still take it. It was too impolite to reject a star like that. The youth who told Yi Mo to move glared at Yi Mo. Yi Mo smiled and didn't care. However, Tan Fei quickly returned her composure and apologetically said, "I'm really sorry. I didn't know you didn't like songs. I thought you heard of my name." Then she playfully said, "It seems I'm not famous enough." Ha ha. Then she didn't pay more attention to Yi Mo. Yi Mo smiled and didn't reply. "Hey, friend, that was Tan Fei. Why didn't you take it? She signed it and gave it to you herself, yet you didn't want it. Don't tell me you haven't heard of Tan Fei." The youth behind Yi Mo saw Tan Fei turn around and immediately spoke to Yi Mo. Yi Mo speechlessly asked, "Why must I have heard of her?" The youth was at a loss for words. Yeah, why did he have to know her? Tan Fei obviously heard Yi Mo's words as the corner of her mouth spasmed, but she eventually didn't say anything. She must have felt quite intrigued. She was the most famous star in China and Hong Kong, but someone said in her face that he didn't know her. If Yi Mo was a 60-year-old man, it would be fair enough. However, he was a youth in his 20s. She really felt weird, but luckily the tunnel was unblocked now. She carried a small case and walked out with her assistant. Seeing the fans outside, she finally found some confidence back. Yi Mo wasn't someone who liked to spend money and was even very conservative. But for places that he should spend money on, he wasn't stingy. Although there were a lot of high-star hotels in Beijing, the prices were too high. He only had $20,000, and that wasn't enough for 2 nights. Yi Mo wasn't someone who liked to spend money and was even very conservative. But for places that he should spend money on, he wasn't stingy. Although there were a lot of high-star hotels in Beijing, the prices were too high. He only had $20,000, and that wasn't enough for 2 nights. So, the first thing Yi Mo did after getting off the plane wasn't to find a place to live, but to buy a phone. It was too inconvenient to call Li Hu using public payphones, plus a phone didn't cost that much. He didn't buy it before because he didn't need it, but now that he did, he would go buy one. Yi Mo didn't have much requirements for a phone. As long as it could be used to call, he didn't mind if it had other functions. But when he walked into a phone shop, he was dazzled by the variety of phones. He really didn't want to spend time picking a phone or brand. "Handsome, what phone do you want?" Yi Mo looked around, and just when he didn't know what to do, the counter girl greeted him. Yi Mo looked at this sweet-looking girl and thought these business people really knew how to talk. No matter how the person looked, the male would be handsome, and the female would be beautiful. "Help me get a phone." As soon as Yi Mo spoke, he found that not only the girl held her mouth with her hand, but even the people on the side looked at him in surprise. Some of them wanted to laugh, but the counter girl immediately resisted and asked, "What brand do you want? What style?" Yi Mo knew what they were laughing about, but he didn't know a thing about phones and could only say, "I don't have a requirement for brand. As long as it can call clearly, then it would be fine." It was a hillbilly the people around understood. This ordinary-looking youth was a hillbilly. People who bought phones now cared least about calling capabilities. People sought after high pixels, internet speed, and looks. Hearing Yi Mo's words, the girl no longer had her previous enthusiasm. Any phone could call. There were ones for $200 or $300, but she wouldn't be able to earn off that. Yi Mo knew what she was thinking just by looking at her, but didn't care. Who didn't want to earn money? However, Yi Mo didn't notice that someone at the corner of the shop stared at him for a while before mumbling, "It's Yi Mo. He came to Beijing." Then the person ran out of the shop quickly. The girl took an old-style Nokia from behind the counter and said to Yi Mo, "This Nokia is quite clear for calls, and it's cheap. It's just that the appearance and other functions are a bit worse off. This one is $550, although there were 200 to 300s, but the girl still wanted to earn some money. She would see if Emo would take it. If he thought that was expensive, she would lower the price. Emo nodded, took out $1,000 and presented it to the girl. I'll have this one. Use the rest to get a card for me, and charge it up. The girl couldn't react for a long time. She didn't expect this young man to have some money. If she knew this, she would have gave him a more expensive model. Thinking about this, the girl quickly said, "Sir, there are better phones. Do you want?" Before she could say more, Emo interrupted and said, "Hurry up and do it. I'm busy. Stop. Don't leave." A voice beside Emo called out. Emo turned around and saw a shop personnel pulling a youth in his 20s. The youth had a face full of worry with one hand holding a water bottle. Emo phased because he knew this youth. When he was at Flowing Snake, he saw this youth behind Fong Nan. He should be Fong Nan's lackey, so why did he appear at Beijing's shop? Brother Yi. This youth obviously knew Emo and stopped struggling. Emo walked over and looked at the personnel. What's going on? Although Emo didn't wear famous brands, he had his temperament. The personnel saw that the youth knew Emo, so he let the youth go and pointed at him. He broke our TV, and I'm making him pay. He says he didn't do it. The youth didn't rebuke. Just then, he poured his water into the TV, and the TV got short-circuited. I saw it with my own eyes, the worker immediately said. Emo looked at the youth's pale face and knew the worker was telling the truth. He didn't know what the youth was doing in Beijing, but if he was doing errands for Fong Nan, then he didn't mind helping him solve the problem. After all, Fong Nan also helped Ning Qingxue last time. What are you doing here? Emo asked. The youth showed hesitance and looked around as though saying this wasn't a place to talk. Emo looked at the worker and said, "How much is the TV? I'll pay you $5. 3K, the worker pointed at the sign. Emo didn't even bother to argue and just gave the worker $5, 3K, and took the phone. He didn't even take the receipt and said to the youth, "Let's go." He took the youth to a fast food restaurant and ordered 2 coffees as he signaled the youth to sit down. He didn't know the youth's name. The youth seemed to know this and said as soon as he sat down, "Brother Yi, I'm Xiaohua. I've been following Brother Nan. You should have seen me." Emo saw this Xiao who was over 20 and couldn't understand why he did something so immature. "What's going on? Did Fong Nan send you?" Emo asked. He saw that Xiao hadn't washed his clothes for a long time. It seemed that he didn't have a good time in Beijing. Xiao's eyes were red and said, "I wasn't sent by Brother Nan. Brother Nan was almost killed and his legs are injured. He can't get up. He's no longer in Flowing Snake but hiding in a small town at the border of Vietnam. I snuck to Beijing. I brought something to Beijing to sell, but I was caught and lost everything. The person who took my things seemed to want to keep it for himself and didn't investigate my origins and just let me go." Emo understood why Xiao was so worried when he was caught by the shop worker. If the police came and his origins were investigated, then he would probably go to jail. Who would have a clean record coming from Flowing Snake? But Fong Nan almost being killed and getting kicked out of Flowing Snake took Emo by surprise. He had already paved the way in Flowing Snake, and there were basically no strong power factions. Why would Fong Nan still be kicked out? And last time, when Ning Qingxue went to Flowing Snake, he still seemed to be the big boss in Flowing Snake. Seeing Emo's confused expression, Xiao hurried and said, "Last time when your wife went to Flowing Snake, Brother Nan had a conflict due to her things and broke Sherwei's legs and kicked him out of Flowing Snake. Brother Nan thought that although Sherwei was from the amphibious gang, he only needed to pay some money. But this Sherwei was influential and made the amphibious gang annihilate our Pu Dao gang. Brother Nan was almost killed. We lost a lot of brothers in that battle. Brother Nan was heavily injured and taken out of Flowing Snake by us. Now we're hiding in a small town by the border because we didn't have much money and didn't dare to do any business. I brought something to Beijing to sell, but my thing was confiscated, and I was almost caught. Emo curiously asked, why do you have to come to Beijing to sell? And why did you look for trouble in the shop? Xiao Hu looked down for a while before saying, because I didn't have money and felt depressed. I've been wandering around the shop, but the TV was talking about amphibians. I hate the word amphibians. I saw there was no one on the side, so I tipped the water into the TV, but I was still seen. Emo was speechless. This Xiao Hu was indeed from Flowing Snake. He could find such an absurd reason. However, since Fong Nan helped Ning Qing Xue and was almost killed due to her, Emo had to help him no matter what. He just didn't know where this amphibious gang popped out from. But since he wasn't even afraid of Nanqing, he wouldn't be afraid of this amphibious gang. Thinking about this, he gave $1.0K to Xiao Hua and said, go back first, tell Fong Nan to heal up. This thing started because of me, so I will go back and avenge him. When I'm done with the things in Beijing, I will go there. Xiao Hua stood up in joy. If Emo said he was going to help, then things would be all good. Although he wanted to reject the $10,000, but he really didn't have any money, so he could only take it. Emo sent Xiao Hu away and walked out of the shop and just realized the sky was dark. He only had a few $1,000s on him now, but he didn't mind because he was soon going to take back the $500,000 of debt. However, he didn't expect Fong Nan to be kicked out by the amphibious gang. This gang seemed quite big. He shook his head and took out the phone. He wanted to call Li Hu. Li Hu's phone was off. Emo didn't know if he came back from the desert or went on another mission. Emo could only get out the phone and call Zhuaigua, but he couldn't reach through as well. Li Hu's phone was off. Emo didn't know if he came back from the desert or went on another mission. Emo could only get out the phone and call Zhuaigua, but he couldn't reach through as well. Luckily, Emo knew where Zhuaigua lived and called a taxi to there. As soon as Emo reached that small region, Zhuaigua's phone called back. When he heard it was Emo calling, he was excited. However, he wasn't in Beijing now and took his son and wife to America. He promised Emo that he would be able to come back tomorrow. Emo hung up the phone in disappointment. It seemed that he should have called them before he came. Li Hu could just transfer the money, but how was he going to treat Zhuaigua's son if he didn't see him? Since Zhuaigua could only come back tomorrow, Emo could only find a place to live first for the night. At the same time, Emo wondered if he should go see Zifeng. A few people looking like students walked over, and Emo didn't notice them. He walked up to a vending machine and wanted to buy a bottle of water. He felt his pocket and realized he had no coins. This machine seemed to only take coins. Emo could only shake his head and go to a nearby supermarket. But at this moment, an arm blocked Emo's way. Emo reacted and grabbed that wrist, but before he used much force, the owner of the wrist yelled out. The students surrounded him immediately. Emo calmed down and noticed that the one stopping him was a girl, so he quickly let go her. He looked closely at the girl, only to realize that he had actually seen her before. Hey, what the hell? I just wanted to ask you something. The girl had tears circulating in her eyes and was obviously not happy with Emo's reaction. The few male students had come up, and by the looks of it, if Emo said anything wrong, they would attack him immediately. Emo smiled and said, "You're asking the wrong person. I just came to Beijing." The girl rubbed her wrist before looking at Emo again and saying, "I've definitely seen you before. Your eyes are too familiar. Your eyes are very beautiful. It's definitely you, right?" Emo was speechless. The girl's friends were also speechless. She's been rambling for so long, but still didn't say who Emo was. However, she kept talking about his eye. However, Emo knew that this girl recognized him. He didn't think he would still be recognized even when he wore a face mask. This girl was the Qing heir he met at Likang Hospital. She and her grandpa came to the hospital, and her grandpa was poisoned by purple coral. However, Yemo just saved his life for 3 years and didn't cure it completely. Yangqing, are you infatuated? What eyes? Do you think this is a drama? A girl beside Shui Yangqing said. Shui Yangqing was already sure that this young man was the person who cured her grandpa at the hospital, and even took her $50,000. It has been a year, and according to what Yemo said, her grandpa only had 3 years to live. She dreamed day and night to see Yemo again. She had been to Ninghai and Likang countless times. She even got to know everyone who worked there, but still couldn't find Yemo. It was because before, Yemo had a face mask, so his eyes were set in more and more in Shui Yangqing's head. She would even dream of that bright pair of eyes. She was confident that as soon as he saw those eyes, she would be able to recognize him. And she really did see him today. Shui Yangqing was clueless in her speech and grabbed Yemo's sleeve. She was afraid Yemo would suddenly disappear again. She desperately asked, "Tell me, are you the doctor who helped me grandpa at Likang Hospital?" Yemo nodded helplessly and said, "Yes, I believe you grandpa is fine, right?" Yemo was quite confident in his medical skills. He did not believe that something happened to the girl's grandpa in less than 3 years. No, my grandpa is fine. I've been looking for you at Ninghai countless times, and I actually found you. I'm so happy, so happy. Shui Yangqing's expression was getting chaotic. In her heart, if she found Yemo, then it meant her grandpa would be saved. "Then can you let go first?" Yemo looked speechlessly at Shui Yangqing. "Oh, okay. Shui Yangqing still nervously stared at Yemo after letting go. She was scared that Yemo would disappear as soon as she didn't pay attention. "Yangqing, do you still want me to go to live with you at your third uncle's house? If not, I'm going back to school with Wang Fei and them." A short girl reminded Shui Yangqing. Shui Yangqing had calmed down now and quickly said, "No need. Thank you. Fong, I have things to do now." "Okay, let's go." Those youth looked at Yemo a few times and bid Yangqing farewell. Yemo knew this girl wanted him to go cure her grandpa's disease, and he was third stage qi gathering now, so it was very easy to cure her grandpa. "Hello, doctor. I'm Shui Yangqing. You should know why I wanted to find you so desperately. After you treated my grandpa last time, my grandpa had been well and is still very healthy. My whole family is looking for you, but we couldn't find you. Now that I met you, this is really luck amongst luck." Although Shui Yangqing had calmed down, she was still excited. Yemo estimated that it was 6 to 7 p.m. now, and he didn't have any medical equipment. He originally planned to go buy it after getting the money from Li, but he couldn't reach him. Seeing Yemo didn't talk, Shui Yangqing worriedly said, "Doctor, this time my aunties are all at home, so you can have as much money as you want, as long as you cure my grandpa." In Shui Yangqing's eyes, Yemo was a doctor who only looked at money. In other words, he had no medical ethics. He would cure as long as there was money. Yemo smiled and didn't argue. Before, he asked for money so vigorously because he really had nothing on him and he needed money desperately for cultivation. Now, he wasn't so worried, but it was natural to be paid for treating diseases. If he was going to help the girl's grandpa, of course he would charge money. "Okay, give me your number. After I'm done with my errands tomorrow, I'll call you. I'm busy today." Yemo had decided to go visit Yi Zifeng. After all, when he was at school, Wang Ying gave him quite a lot of help. Not that he thought about it. Wang Ying probably helped him do to Yi Zifeng. Indeed, the only person who didn't hate him in the Yi family was Yi Zifeng. "Ha! What if you disappear again? Then I would regret it my whole life." I don't know what your name is, Shui Yongqing subconsciously said. Yi Mo frowned slash. I'm busy now. Are you going to follow me? Shui Yongqing fearfully looked at Yi Mo. She was scared that Yi Mo was just going to leave, and she would never find him again. Seeing that Yi Mo was about to turn and leave, she quickly said once again, Didn't you say you just got to Beijing? I'm familiar with the place, so I can take you wherever you want to go. Then Zhui Yongqing seemed to feel this was a good idea and said, Yes, I'll be your guide. Yi Mo thought that he indeed wasn't familiar with Beijing and didn't even know where the Yi family was. Zhui Yongqing's suggestion was good. Thinking about this, Yi Mo nodded and said, Okay, do you know how to get to the Yi family? I'm looking for Yi Zifeng. If you don't know it, then don't worry. Yi Zifeng, I've heard of him, but I only know where his sister is, Zhui Yongqing immediately said. Yi Zifeng's sister. Wasn't she Yi Ling? She was his sister too, although her attitude to him was bad, but Wang Ying helped him do to her. If he could find Yi Ling, he could be able to see Yi Zifeng. Although Yi Mo didn't know the exact reason he was kicked out of the Yi family, if he could be framed, so could Yi Zifeng. If Yi Zifeng needed his help, he could bring him to Luo Tsang and learn medicine with him. You know Yi Ling? Yi Mo casually asked. Shui Yongqing immediately said, You know her name, so that means you really know her. Yi Ling is the school queen of our uni. Of course I know her. She didn't say she was one of the school queens and was ranked higher. Yi Mo nodded. Okay, then take me to your uni and find Yi Ling. Yi Mo thought that if could find Yi Ling, he could find Yi Zifeng. Shui Yongqing didn't mind and said, Okay, let's go. I'll take you to her. By the way, I don't know your name yet. I'm Yi Mo. After Yi Mo said that, he realized Shui Yongqing stared at him for a long time, and then she looked at Yi Mo's underpart. Yi Mo couldn't help but touch his nose and feel speechless. Wu Yanqing's cute and innocent impression in his mind was lost. The girls nowadays were really bold. Obviously, Shui Yongqing also heard of Yi Mo's name and knew he was impotent, but probably no one knew that ever since Yi Mo came back from the desert, he was no longer impotent. His meridian was cleared as soon as he reached stage 3. Now, he was strong as ever. Shui Yongqing seemed to notice her impoliteness and quickly looked up with a blushed face. Sorry, Brother Yi, I was being impolite. Shui Yanqing realized after her explanation that she shouldn't have explained anything. Sorry, Brother Yi, I was being impolite. Shui Yanqing realized after her explanation that she shouldn't have explained anything. Yi Mo shook his head and said, Don't talk these nonsense. Hurry up and take me to Yiling. Hua University wasn't far from where Shui Aigua lived, and was only a few minutes' walk away. Although Shui Yongqing looked calm when she was walking with Yi Mo, she wasn't calm on the inside at all. Almost everyone knew about Yi Mo in Beijing. Even the normal citizens heard about Yi Mo due to that reason and realization that he wasn't of Yi family blood. He was kicked out of the Yi family and was the laughingstock of the people for a while. Even Zhui Yongqing and her roommates would often talk about it. Although she didn't say it, her dorm mates often talked about it. Every time she heard about it, she wanted to laugh, but she realized that the person she wanted to find was Yi Mo and almost couldn't believe herself. At this moment, she almost thought she was looking for the wrong person and subconsciously looked at Yi Mo's crotch. Luckily, Yi Mo didn't mind, but she immediately felt it wasn't right. This Yi Mo had no similarity to the Yi Mo in the stories. The Yi Mo in front of her not only had clear eyes, his manner was also generous and very at ease. The features of his face was defined. He was nothing like the stories. With his medical skills, he was almost the perfect man. He just asked for money too much, and this was the only similar part. After all, Zhui Yongqing came from a big family and immediately thought of the family competition. It seemed that all those stories were fake. The main reason was to kick Yi Mo out of the Yi family. Thinking about this, Shui Yongqing suddenly came to a realization and almost looked at Yi Mo's crotch again. But luckily she resisted that urge. It should be family competition. Yi Mo was a sacrificial goat kicked out of the Yi family due to the competition. It seemed that every big family was the same. Brother Yi, you still haven't eaten yet. There's a canteen in our school where you can cook. I'll cook a few dishes and we can eat together. Yi Mo looked at the door of the university. Indeed, he hadn't eaten yet. Just when he wanted to agree, a voice called out before him. Yongqing, I was going to call you. You actually came to uni. Who is he? The owner of the voice saw Yi Mo on the side. This was a tall, handsome man, but he looked at Yi Mo with alert eyes as though feeling Yi Mo was a threat. Shui Yongqing looked awkwardly at Yi Mo on the side and turned to say, Qin Sun, what do you want? Qin Sun seemed to forget what he was going to say and stared at them in shock. Hearing Shui Yongqing's words, he reacted and immediately said, Yongqing, you still haven't said who he is. Shui Yongqing's face turned red and replied, Qin Sun, who do you think you are to me? Why do I need to report to you about my friend? You are my girlfriend. Qin Sun never would have thought Shui Yongqing would talk to him in such a manner, and subconsciously said, You, Qin Sun, when did I say I was your girlfriend? Where did you hear that? Shui Yongqing seemed to be angered by his words. Qin Su had been chasing her fiercely recently. She also had a good impression of him, but although she was interested, she never agreed to be his girlfriend. Although she knew that if this continued, then perhaps one day she would be his girlfriend. But now that he said it, she was very angry. Qin Sun seemed to not expect Shui Yongqing would say this. Although they haven't had any solid development, she would rarely reject when he asked her out for food or a walk. Now, she brought a guy into the school and talked to her in this tone. Qin Sun was very sensitive to this, and his face was immediately bright red. Looking at Qin Sun, who acted like an angry rooster, Shui Yongqing sighed and lost all good impression of him. Shui Yongqing, then why do you not reject every time I asked you out? And Qin Sun's words attracted the gaze of the other students. Shui Yongqing's face was flustered. She didn't think Qin Sun was someone so impetuous. Looking at how more and more people were spectating, Shui Yongqing said apologetically to Yi Mo, Brother Yi, wait for me a bit. I'll deal with this issue. She didn't wait for Yi Mo's reply and said to Qin Sun, come with me. Yi Mo smiled. He found that most of the students spent their time on this. He thought about himself. He was about the same age as him, but he didn't even have enough time for cultivation. Perhaps different pursuit led to a different view on life. He didn't have the same pursuit as them. He thought about his pursuit and thought that perhaps he was the only one who had this pursuit in this world. At this instance, Yi Mo felt loneliness. Shui Yongqing worriedly looked back at Yi Mo and found that Yi Mo was still there waiting for her. Then she gasped a sigh of relief, but she immediately felt this extremely lonely and bored sense from Yi Mo that made her lose herself for a moment. Seeing Shui Yongqing still look back after leaving with him, Qin Sun's face got worse. Although Yi Mo was very famous in Beijing, no one could really recognize him standing at the door of the uni. A high-heeled girl walked from the campus to a Porsche parked outside the gate. Just when she walked to it, a young man got off and helped her open the door. The moment the girl walked into the car, Yi Mo felt this girl was familiar. The car picking up Yi Ling today changed again. It's really good to be rich, a voice sounded beside Yi Mo, and Yi Mo immediately realized that this girl was Yi Ling. At this moment, the Porsche had started. Yi Mo followed it without hesitation. The Porsche didn't go far off and stopped at an entertainment center 10 minutes later. Yi Mo frowned. Why did Yi Ling come there? Although Yi Mo didn't like Yi Ling that much, Yi Ling was still related to him by blood, and he felt uncomfortable seeing her come here. He felt that a girl going to this sort of place didn't know self-love. Yi Mo followed, but saw that people needed VIP cards at the door. Yi Mo knew he didn't have this. Seeing Yi Ling disappear in the stairway, Yi Mo used invisibility and went inside. Yi Ling and two men went into room 409, and the door was immediately closed. Yi Mo didn't go in, and just followed with his spirit sense. There was already two men inside. Seeing Yi Ling come in, the man in the middle threw his cigarette into the ashtray and smiled. Ms. Yi is really gorgeous. Yi Ling sat down and looked at the man who spoke. She spoke after a while. Speak, what do you want this time? The man lit up another cigarette and said slowly, first stay with me one night, and of course, you also need to stay with Brother Chung one night. Second, there's a jade necklace in your house. I want... Before the man finished talking, Yi Ling stood up and said, keep dreaming, and she turned to leave. The man didn't stop her seeing her get up to leave, and just said, you know that the Yi family hopes your two brothers to die. Do you think there's a point going back to tell your family? I, Gu Luo, am credible in my business. I'll tell you that if it wasn't for me, then that Yi Mo would have been killed ages ago. If you don't agree to my conditions, then that Yi Zifan will be killed too. Oh, perhaps not killed, but that consequence, I believe you would understand. Bullsh asterisk T. Even if I die, I won't agree to your conditions. Yi Ling's face was looked bad. Clap, clap, okay. Okay, not bad. I love a little chili like you. Yi Mo, that bastard, killed people from the Song family, so I'll make his little sister pay under my crotch. Ha! Young Master Ching, you're here? Gu Luo saw the clapping youth, and immediately stood up, as though not expecting he would suddenly appear. Song Xiaocheng, it's you? Yi Ling saw the person who just walked in was Song Xiaocheng, and was shocked. She didn't think that Gu Luo she went for help with was related to the Song family. But soon, Yi Ling quickly reacted and stared at Gu Luo with hatred. Gu Luo, you knew Yi Lu. How are you the Song family's man? You cheated me and Yi Lu. Gu Luo laughed and said, Yi Lu, humph, you overestimate him. Is he worth me cheating? He's quick to suck up to me. I'll tell you, I've always been young Master Chen's man. Yi Lu, of course, knew it. Yi Mo, that useless trash, is not worth us killing. But, of course, when I was going to make a move, he had ran. Otherwise, did you still think there would still be a Yi Mo in this world? You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.